Approve?
Yes.
I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Report of collections is submitted. Everyone had looked at the, report of collections for the ambulance clerk and sheriff for the month of November, along with the report of collections for the health department and the recorder for October. Is there a motion to acknowledge those?
Yes.
Tom, second.
Yes.
Kelly, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Review and acknowledge treasurer's bank reconciliation and monthly comparison report of funds. Everyone had a chance to look at the treasurer's bank reconciliation for November 2023 and the November comparison report of funds. Jim, motion, Denise, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
7-0. Review and acknowledge clerk's monthly report for October 2023. Motion to acknowledge that.
Make the motion.
Okay. Dale, all those in favor? Okay, analytics, Slater Rush.
Biolytics, that's the program that Jason wants to go through. He has a presentation.
Oh, on the roads, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Basin, you,
What?
Isn't that what that movie does?
Yeah, unless doesn't.
come up and we've got Slater with you.
Yes, this is Slater Rush with Biolytics.
Yes.
Do a little presentation for you guys on the software we're looking.
Yeah, if it's okay, I can put it up on the screen if you have that. By chance, is there Wi-Fi in here? That's
Yes,
potentially better than my phone.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me,
Thank you.
you know which Wi-Fi network it is, by chance?
Yeah.
She said, yes, always.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have anything for us while he's getting that set up? Okay.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
That emphasizes it. Yeah, so then I probably, yeah, especially that time. Yeah. I need to leave out this. That's messy.
Well, he's getting that up. I will go over these papers I gave you today. The DLCF came up with what our tax rate will be for 2024 taxes, 2023 taxes, payable in 2024. And once they lowered our county tax rate to 0.4640. It's 0.4946 this year and it's 0.5732 the year before that, so. Tax rate has gone down, but then our assessed value is $1,173,000,000. So we are within $721 of the maximum tax rate we can have. But if you notice, our county general keeps going down each 3 years ago, 3.5 million, last year was 3 million. This year is 3.2 million, so that's the bridge fund went up quite a bit, so. Printed out the last 2 years, plus the new that they just approved, so you have that, that's just for your information.
Yeah.
Another little tidbit of information for you, we put on the 0.005 tax to help pay for the covered bridges 3 years ago, so in 2021, it brought in 43,626. Last year, $45,998.47. This year brought in $50,417.18. So of our Hume Bridge Fund, $140,041.74 will help on the covered bridges, and I believe the bids have been. Have they been accepted? Did they accept that?
They accepted the bids, but I don't know if they made a decision on it.
Okay, I met with the covered bridge committee on Monday night, and they were almost ready to sign the and I'm not sure exactly what that total is gonna be, but I know we passed that we need to use some Hume Bridge if we need it, but then they'll have probably before the bills are due, we'll have next May's installment in due, so. That's just,
And you said that was at 0.005?
yeah, it's point of view. Okay, ready?
Yes, awesome, thank you, sorry for little technical difficulties. Thanks for bearing with me. As Jason mentioned and introduced myself, I'm Slater. I'm with Biolytics. I'm a Midwest manager, so live in Noblesville, originally from Greenfield, Indiana, but I cover the whole state of Indiana. We are an intelligent road management platform, so kind of what I've been discussing with Jason is essentially eliminating a lot of the manual processes that are involved in road management currently for Fountain County that are, number one, very time consuming, but also very costly. So as you can see up on the screen, it's utilizing a simple iPhone mounted to any municipal vehicle. As you're driving down the road, we're automatically taking photos every single 10 feet and automatically picking up all of those pavement distresses on the surface level. So the current process is, essentially manually driving the roads with a couple of people, stopping and going, writing down with pen and paper, what you're seeing, and then going back into the computer, inputting that, and then putting out, essentially an overall road network score per segment, or as, currently, I think what Fountain County is doing is getting an entire assessment of their roads every 2 years, and paying roughly, $30,000 just for one assessment of the entire road network. So this is going to allow Fountain County to, most importantly, be able to do multiple condition assessments throughout the year, and be able to identify a lot of those early issues, with a lot of the cracking as well, to be able to put in more of a preventative maintenance plan, to also reduce a lot of those costs. So hopefully this Wi-Fi will connect and play and show you exactly, what our algorithm is doing on the back end. But this is essentially what it would look like, as we're processing all of that data. So as you're continuously driving down the road, again, you're not having to stop the vehicle, just visually assess that, pavement. You're able to now just drive. Our system is automatically going to pick up all of those pavement distresses, accordingly, and be able to assess that entire road network multiple times throughout the year, which is really important for being able to, again, identify a lot of those early issues and better plan accordingly. As you all know, our winters here in Indiana are pretty brutal, and road networks change after one winter. So doing one condition assessment of the entire road network every 2 years, there's a lot of gaps within that, and potentially missing out on being able to fix a lot of those early on issues before they turn into more costly repairs, like reconstruction of the road. And we actually did an assessment here, and hopefully my system loads. My Wi-Fi was a little bit spotty. Yeah, it's still trying to load. We actually did an assessment here in Fountain County. We did a small portion, we just literally did about a mile of road network here. But in the top right-hand corner, what's really important is that we're able to track every single inspection that's ever been done over the course of utilizing Biolytics. So if you're doing 2 or 3, each year, you can really compare and contrast every single inspection that's been done and continuously see that road network getting better by being able to plan and prioritize specific roads. But most importantly, we're able to then come into every single segment here, be able to see all of that image data if it'll load, and you'll be able to see the overall scoring of that actual road network. So instead of, again, somebody going out visually inspecting that road network, I could go out and personally inspect Fountain County's whole road network, and then somebody else could go inspect it the next week, and you may come up with 2 completely different scores. You see it happen all the time because it's very subjective data. And this is, one of the most important things, when speaking with citizens and just citizen reports and data, other than what my bills are and I'm paying too high for my bills. It's, what is the condition of the road that I live on and the roads that I'm consistently driving. So being able to, consistently gather this data and then better plan. We provide a ton of planning tables and features in here. So that way we can stay ahead of, a lot of these damages, especially from the preventative maintenance side, like cracking. We can actually go in and filter for all of those. Maybe if it'll load, So we can actually go in here, filter all of this data. We can actually see specifically all of our worst segments of roads based on, you know, the red being the very worst, green being the best. And then we can also filter specifically by the actual damage type. So, you know, Jason wanted to come in here and put together a preventative maintenance plan to reduce overall long-term costs, you know, specifically for crack sealing. So that way we can extend the life of those roadways. We could go in here specifically filter for single cracking, you know, and specific types of cracks. So that way we could then put together a preventative maintenance plan and better, you know, jump ahead of that. So that way we're extending that life of the road and reducing more of those long-term costs. But there's also a ton of other features that we kind of touched on also from the task management side of things. Right now, everything's just kind of being manually done and logged. So we can actually put in here all of Fountain County's assets like culverts, street signs. We're gonna actually be releasing our automated inventory management of street signs. So as you're driving down the road, we'll automatically identify the street signs and be able to place them on the map. And then also be able to tell you whether that they're, you know, sticker, damaged, bent, and then if those already in our system, we'll actually be able to tell you if they're missing or not. So really huge there from a, you know, public safety concern is being able to identify all of those street signs and be able to tell you whether they've been faded or damaged or missing. But then we can also create tasks around those. So everything just lives within the system. It's always going to be Fountain County's data. So you can actually export all of this data into your GIS system that Jason has, I believe it's ArcGIS. Yeah, so you'll be able to export it, input that into, you know, your GIS system. You'll be able to maintain, you're always going to keep that data. So even after the term of analytics, if you really get rid of us, you still maintain all of the previous data that you've ever collected from us. Not only that, but you'll be able to create all of your tasks around those specific things. So, you know, if you have culverts that you want to maintain, or you have even a guardrail that's damaged and you want to create a task in here and assign it to a specific person within, you know, the public works department, you can actually assign those tasks out and manage everything within one place where you're keeping all of that data stored. So overall, the main benefits really is just eliminating a lot of those manual tasks, but also continuously having that up-to-date, you know, consistent data over time. Because again, if you're, you know, doing an inspection one every, you know, 2 years, you know, by the time that 2 winters have already passed, a lot of those single cracks that we were able to identify, you know, early on in this system may turn into then, you know, larger cracks and alligator cracking, where then you're going to have to do more of a reconstruction. So it's going to eliminate a lot of those long-term costs, be able to identify a lot of those early on issues to where you can then put together more preventative maintenance plans to extend the life of those roadways. So I wish my Wi-Fi would load so I can show you actual image data we collected. Fortunately, it's being a little slow. Maybe I can put together a video when I get home and I can send it over to Jason and he can show it to you guys as well. Because we did gather some really good image data, you know, on some of these specific roads here within Fountain County, just where there's a ton of, you know, alligator cracking, but also we picked up a lot of small cracks that would be perfect for a preventative maintenance plan to extend the life of the road, especially on this roadway here. Oh, well, there you can kind of see some of the scores pop up here.
Human Road, Russell Road. Oh, 41 in the back.
And you'll always maintain all the image data as well. Another great example, like use case as well, is if a citizen, you know, calls in with a complaint saying that they have a pothole, you know, outside their house, a really large one. They can just go into the system and type in the address and then pull up the image data to be able to see exactly, you know, what the citizen's describing while they're on the phone with them. And they can actually create a task right then and there. So eliminates a lot of additional trips as well, you know, where most of the time a citizen will call in. Then, you know, Jason or somebody on the crew would drive out, inspect it, and then, you know, manually create a task that way. Whereas, you know, if you have consistent data, you can just go in, access it, be able to see, you know, that there is a pothole there, or maybe there's not, you know, as significant of a pothole that the citizen thought, and then, you know, you can, you know, take the appropriate action from there. Yeah, sorry, this is uploading.
Right.
I'll try this, but.
Jason, don't you have to supply the state with a inventory of your signs and all that? And
Not necessarily our signs, but to be in compliance so we can continue to do our community crossings grants. We set our asset management every year to help them.
and this, so this, and that is done physically, right?
Okay.
Which is that USI would pay,
Yeah,
okay?
that's why I was bringing this up. Like I did it, but I believe USI can utilize better doing something else, where we can, myself, travel, we can run the roads and, you know,
Well, your trucks are out on the roads too, today.
right.
Okay. And cost comparison,
Cost comparison, we paid right around 35,000 this year to USI, which this was also including some other tasks as far as getting like the asset management and everything together. I think Slater said for the 3-year contract it'd be 17,500.
for a 3-year contract,
Yeah, it'd be 3-year contract, 17.5 on an annual recurring basis. And that's gonna include everything in every module in our system. So it's gonna include the task management, the planning capabilities in there as well. Right now, USI is just providing a simple like Excel spreadsheet, just a report saying, hey, here's your score. Whereas we're gonna provide the score, all the image data, what all damages, classes that we're picking up on those specific roads, and the ability to then filter all of that data based on, you know, what roads do we want to add to our planning table for 2024, 2025, and the years on, and then what do we want to add in for more of a preventative maintenance plan. So you're also going to get all of that along with the task management, along with the assets. So we're going to automatic inventory of street signs. It's not as common within the county, but we also automatically inventory manholes and storm drains as you're driving down the road. Typically more pertains to municipalities as more than the actual city. And then what we're releasing actually in 2024, which will be included in the contract, is additional added features into our planning table where then you can actually go in, type in what budget you have for the year for your specific road maintenance, and then we'll actually provide suggestions and planning based on what's going to increase your Payzer score the highest. So we'll provide suggestions on that as well based on what you want to add in.
Okay.
We'll see if I can get.
Later, has the state accepted your file format yet?
So it's, yes, as far as like Payzer scoring, yes. So we're releasing so right now we're on a 1 to 5 grading scale. At the end of this year, we'll be releasing PCI and Payzer scoring. So as far as the additional ways that you can export this data, export it again via shapefile, Excel. So we can export it the same way USI is providing it currently to Jason. So to answer your question, yes.
And when the data is collected, does it go into the cloud and it's processed at your facility, or do they get live immediate reports?
Yeah, so as soon as Jason were to get back, you know, let's say from a condition inspection, as soon as he connects the phone to Wi-Fi, that's when it's gonna immediately start uploading. So the processing times, depending on how many miles of road you do, you know, in one day, you know, and you may have 2 phones going at once, you know, maybe 2 people out, you know, doing an inspection at once. You know, this little data that I collected here took like 2 hours to process.
Is the processing happening at your facility, or is it happening here on this computer?
It'd be happening it's in the cloud, so it's hosted on Amazon Web Services. If that answers your question, so it's on the cloud through Amazon Web Services.
Okay, but for him to have the final report, access to that final report, it has to be processed through your facility first?
Well, it's through our system, so the app is just downloaded on the phone. So Jason, we'll either provide the phone, so what I have in the contract that I've sent over to Jason in that 17.5 is 2 iPhones provided, so it's just on these that we provide through Verizon. The app and the software is just already installed on this phone. So as soon as he gets back, connects the phone to Wi-Fi, it's immediately leaving the app, and all of that image data is then being uploaded into the web system that you saw, you know, on the screen that's hosted on Amazon Web Services.
So if one service throughout the trip is immaterial, they can.
Yeah, they don't need to date, yeah, they don't need to be on Wi-Fi or on, or, you know, anything like that, you know, as they're out doing the inspection. It's just whenever they get back to upload it into the system.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Anybody else have any questions?
Who would write the grant? Jason, would you guys write the community crossings grant like USI does?
No,
USI would still do that?
yes, yeah. Yeah, we're still gonna utilize USI for.
What do they think about this?
They were pretty interested the other day when they, because they stopped by, Friday, I believe. But they stopped by to go look at Stringtown Road. Because that's what we found on the community crossing. They had heard about this at the auditors conference, I believe, or the commissioners conference. They seemed pretty interested. So,
So they're gonna continue to use USI, we paid them like 30 to 35, how much do you think that amount would go down if they did this portion? We're still gonna have something USI.
yeah, we're still gonna have.
So, yeah.
small
Do you have any
contracts and
idea?
stuff. I don't. off the top of my head. For their,
You can't compare the 30,000 to 75,
Right.
but something.
yeah,
USI.
so like, they do our asset management updates for the, I believe that was like $3,000 each. But they're doing the bridge inventory asset, they're doing pavement asset. All that.
A lot of savings in terms of time, then
Yeah,
you can't measure that.
right.
And it looks like it's gonna be beneficial for repairs too, to get onto the repair much faster.
Go inspect roads every week if you want to.
Yeah, from what I understand, and if I'm able to jump in here, even after USI is doing the initial road inspection for them, it sounds like, you know, Jason and their crew is still going out multiple times through the year to do additional condition assessments to make sure that they're staying on top of, you know, a lot of the early on issues. So majority of, you know, engineering firms are gonna provide that one condition assessment or consulting firms, you know, at that specific, you know, $25,000 amount, and then they're just essentially providing you, you know, they're charging a very high amount just to go out, because a lot of times they're still going out and manually assessing the roads themselves. They're still visually assessing them. They're not, majority of the time, at least at the cost that they're charging, you know, for Fountain County, majority of the time, they're not gonna be going out using full-on LiDAR, which is, you know, like $1 million truck, that you would drive out and provides a ton of data. The majority of the data that we're gonna provide through our system utilizing the iPhone, as well. So we're essentially eliminating the cost that, you know, for that one inspection, but enabling Jason to be able to do continuous inspections and save more money in the long run to consistently identify those early on issues, so that way you can stay, you know, ahead of that curve.
What's Pacer? What is Pacer?
So it's a road rating system. It's a 1 to 10 scale. So, you know, there's two main road rating systems that, you know, the state of Indiana can utilize. It's either Pacer, which not a majority of Indiana uses. The majority of Indiana uses PCI, what's called PCI, Pavement Condition Index. But both are acceptable standards for the state of Indiana, essentially, as far as the actual rating. So it's just how they rate the actual, the roads and then what damage classes they're actually rating.
How does your software work on gravel roads?
So it's not gonna rate gravel. Specifically, it's specifically for pavement.
It's a bummer because we have a lot of gravel roads.
Yeah, yeah, you can still.
That's the biggest complaint.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, but the road use maps that we have for the
Yeah.
solar.
Yes.
So.
It'd be great to have a beginning backward.
Yeah, it's not gonna like actually, our AI is not gonna like automate that process and actually grade the gravel roads, but you can still go down them and have all of the image data
Mhm.
and still be able to create tasks regarding those.
Our road ratings now, though, they do not take gravel into consideration now.
Good to know. You can agree with that.
Yeah, you'll still have all the image data on that, and then also just for use cases. From the utility standpoint, like if utilities ever cut into the road specifically for anything. One thing that a majority of municipalities are utilizing our software for is doing an inspection prior to that utility cutting into the road. And then one after to make sure that they actually repaired the road properly to the ordinances.
Would
I
it
don't
still
know.
help you think, to
Yeah,
a degree?
that would have been awesome if it could identify where all the potholes are and everything else, you know, that AI would be so useful, because once that big utility company comes through, we can do post comparison.
Mhm.
Well, it does for asphalt, it just doesn't do it for gravel.
Right,
It is what it is. I mean, that's not the intent of what we came here for, but I wanted to see if it had that extra ability.
yes,
So,
yes.
But you can drive that gravel, so and memorialize the condition of the gravel prior to heavy construction going down and post heavy construction, sober.
Yeah, the only thing you don't have is the AI comparing pre and post. You
Yeah.
have the visual.
You got, no, that's understood, you have to visually do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
It's good.
but you can memorialize what the road looks like prior to the post.
Yeah, and you still, the most important thing is you have the proper documentation, like all the image data, it's there, it's not, just taking some notes and saying, like, this is what I saw, you'll have all the image data that links with it there. And you'll always have it.
So basically, this software is only as good as the person that drives the roads and takes the images. So as long as those are being done, the software is going to be used as intended. And
Yeah, I mean, it is, I would say as long as it's mounted properly, which is super easy to do, anybody can mount it in the vehicle, and we're extremely hands-on when we do set up the municipality and the whole city or county on that, so like we'll come out and do multiple trainings and make sure that they're mounting the phone properly, but as long as the phone's mounted and you just hit start on the condition assessment, that's all you have to do. I mean, other than that, you just gotta drive normal.
Right.
Out there, yeah, at a safe speed.
Anything else?
Well, the biggest concern I hear about is the roads, like our roads, so I think having some help and maybe an outside opinion, encouragement would have been bad.
Jason, Denise,
I'm done.
Jason, does White County have this system?
No,
Was that too new? For them?
well, if I understand, Slater would, like, this county,
Yeah, it'd be the first county in Indiana to sign on. Most of our current customers are municipalities and city, like at the city level and town level. We work with a little over 350 across the world. We're fairly new to the US, so we actually just became incorporated in the US in January. We just signed a few more deals this month and have a couple signing this for next couple of weeks, so we'll have, I think, 18 municipalities signed on with us since January. We originally started in Stuttgart, Germany, so we're all of our engineering team, with the exception of a few new hires here in the US are over there, so we work the city of Prague, some pretty large cities, all across the US.
Yeah, will this be useful though, still, ground?
Just for monument, not for assessment, not for collection assessments, just for monument. The company is based where?
Stuttgart.
Okay, and ownership is German.
Yeah, we're backed by, it is a private company, we are backed though and funded by Volkswagen.
For our legal team, we need to check if there's any issues with the foreign ownership, especially since we are collecting county and municipal data.
Yeah.
We want to make sure, how they treat that data, because if the company's owned in Germany, the data is gonna end up in Germany, and it needs to be in Germany.
Well, to answer that question, all of our servers are in the US. So it's Amazon Web Services, it's all based, all of US clients, all of their data is being hosted specifically in the US. On Amazon Web Services.
It wouldn't serve for our legal council to check into that, just make sure we're not crossing any boundaries. You know, the binary and data transfer, all that stuff.
Yeah. So Jason, he would have access to that information. Once it was accepted. He would have access to get on his computer and find out road X, Y, Z, where he may have questions.
I won't have access, Jason will have access, but I can go through Jason.
But you go to the.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can give you access. Anybody could have access. I would just have to create a user for you.
Provided Jason approves it.
Correct, yeah. I do not need access. I work very well with Jason. I can go sit next to him and go through what I need. Yeah.
Exactly.
And to make it easier for you too, if you reached out about a specific road to Jason that you wanted, he can email you. Actually, he can go into the specific segment of road and email you that, and it's gonna provide you in that email still all of the condition, everything that it's picking up.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for the opportunity.
I have one more question for Jason. You mentioned, looking at drugs. Have you done that in cars?
Dump trucks next year? We were just looking at one, probably right now.
Okay.
The budget, how, thankfully, we were able to get, money for the equipment budget, but we're looking at one. And start trying to get on the rotation.
With this, individual being able to check the roads with the technology, it's just blacktop. Okay, well, I have a remedy for that. Blacktop everything.
County isn't buying lottery tickets.
Which roads you gonna start with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason, you have anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Let's
Jason. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
go with Guard. Got some trouble here from the ambulance, so let's get that.
So do you want
Up next.
to present on the salary stuff? Is that what you want to do?
Yep,
Okay. So, I think you guys received email last week, if you didn't, I got copies of it.
I forwarded your email to everyone. Along with, and I told you about the 14
Yeah,
counties. So I sent all of you, the AIC gave me from 2020 what the 14 closest counties to us in population that have, where the county has the ambulance service. So, I think it's more than half. It's not, they're not county employees and run by the county, but you can see from 2020 out of the 14, Garth had the lowest amount that was spent out of the 14 counties, so went from anywhere from 1.1 million to 3.2 million. I don't know how big Jackson County, I think it's a little bigger than us, but so I passed that along so you could see where the budgets are, so go ahead.
as some of you know, we met last Wednesday, had a sit-down meeting with, Addie from our consulting group. She presented some things, presently how we pay. And as was expressed, there's huge concerns on, being paid on that fixed salary on fluctuating hours, which drives their hourly rate down considerably low, over 40 hours. I think the consensus, is to keep employees, we need to go to an hourly rate and pay time and a half. So what I did is I put some numbers together for you guys, which that was in your budget or in your email he sent to you. I broke it down and, showed you, what each employee would make, on the working 24, 48-hour rotation. And then the 4 that we, are bringing on board, they were working that 4th ambulance, they were working 12-hour shifts. So it broke down. The very last page, that's kind of taking the new proposal. That's based off 40 hours and time and a half. And then what I call present proposal, this is what I proposed to you at our budget hearing for 2024. And you can see the difference. I will tell you that I believe we need to go to salary rate for and time and a half, because all other agencies around us, that's what they're going to or are at. We have lost employees because of the way we pay. It's very hard to understand. As we talk Wednesday, trying to decipher through the paperwork, and then afterwards, I sit down with 2 employees, and the way our pay stubs show, it's very hard to understand. Where if we go to this hourly time and a half, it's gonna be so much easier. And if they pick up extra shifts, they're gonna be rewarded for it. Right now, they don't get rewarded for that.
Do you feel like it's an incentive to pick up those other shifts, knowing that you're going to be compensated better? Do you feel overall that this is a better solution, viable solution for you?
Absolutely. But I think the majority pretty much said after the meeting.
It was eye-opening, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure it was eye-opening. Yeah,
I mean, the way it is now, it's legal, but it sure doesn't look good on, I mean, it
No.
just doesn't look right. And Brenda sent us all, the minutes from, the meeting,
I just read.
and, and when I read that, it doesn't make sense, because it says, the way it's written in the handbook, the more hours they put in, the less money they make per hour, that is correct. But then it says, Addie has come up with a modified halftime credit. This will allow an incentive to work more and not for less an hour, but
I don't think it was explained right.
No,
When I read that, that's not the way it's working.
that's not the way it's
I
working.
think
They're
they
not paying.
intended to fix it in 24,
Yes.
but it didn't, the way the law worked out.
Right. And before COVID, that's probably a good plan.
Yeah.
At that time, but since COVID, and it's hard to get employees, it's not a working situation in my opinion.
In the years that, like I said, it was the more hours you work, it was always said, the more you work, the less you make. And I had a lot of employees push back and said, I'm not picking up extra shifts, which left a lot of open shifts. And this is where we came up for a temporary, whatever you want to call it, is that modified halftime. Unfortunately, with the changes, COVID and everything, we need to make a change. I know this is a significant amount of increase, but I think in the long run, I mean, I've already got 2 people already called me now wanting to come work. We changed the pay.
You talked about, Denise and the rest of us talked about adjusting the pace a little bit. Is that still in the picture?
And that reflects that, if you look at, presently, if you were to take their base, the medics' base salary divided by 40, right now, it comes up to like 3173. And I proposed 29, that's very, very competitive, if not higher than a lot of the agencies around us.
Is 29, is that basically what they're making now without the 5% increase? Is that pretty close?
Right now, they're at 3173 without the 5%.
Okay.
And then if you put the 5%, I think I figured it was like 33, 32, somewhere around in there, to work with that.
Okay. I mean, it's what the majority wants. I don't think we should be cutting.
And that's what they worried about, yeah.
But maybe if they're agreeable, we're gonna change this and do time and a half, maybe not do the 5% raise. If everyone's agreeable with that, we leave their salary what it is this year.
Yeah, I mean,
And then that do the time and a half. is,
I think there's 5 of them behind me, so you can ask.
I have absolutely no issues with that.
I think I figured that kind of would cut in about 50,000 into the amount that it's gonna cost.
So I think I would say is keep in mind is, I mean, if we were to forego the 5% this year. I mean, next year, if we, whatever amount we go with, we need to make sure we.
You're in the loop.
Yeah, well, then we need to look at
Yeah.
surrounding counties and be competitive, that's for sure, we don't wanna lose people to Warren County like Jason lost highway workers, and so we did that, so.
I was gonna say, it was, to you, Garth, if we stayed at the 5% on top, and on top of this, I was gonna say, also, if we had going into next year, we may say, if we hadn't done this, we may say, hey, listen, we gave you a good bump. So it's kind of vice versa there.
That's up to you guys, I mean, I give you these numbers here and, you know, and if you look at the annual salary, that's based off the max hours, if you guys remember, that's what she had told you. You know, is the 2,080 is based off working 40 hours a week, and then the 824 is the overtime. You know, now that number potentially is gonna be less, you know, because a lot of my people got a lot of crew time built. So everything, when they take that time off, it's not necessarily gonna go to overtime, and you know, it's gonna go to that straight time.
Right.
Yeah, so, or and if eventually down the road, if we can ever build a full staff up and a part-time, we could entertain looking at that Kelly day that she was. You know, that extra day off in there that she was suggesting to utilize, but right now it's gonna be hard for us to do because we're not at staff to be able to handle that.
Yeah, you've got your 2 vacancies now plus 4 new to hire, so you've got 6 positions to fill right now. And possibly another one if, depending on what we do today. So.
Yeah. So my suggestion is, this is what we need to go to, and my recommendation is to go to this. And I would say, obviously start it for 20, you know, immediately, I think next year starts the new pay period for 2024, so.
Right, well, then that's what we.
Yeah.
do.
Did anybody have any questions on these? Was that pretty explanatory?
So are we going to go with what he proposed in on the email? Or,
I think that's fair.
So-
I would be supportive of 5% for those employees who have been with us for this year. I don't see it necessary to do a 5% bump for new people that coming in who have not been penalized for their extra work. It's more of a reward for those who've been with us for a while, to catch up a little bit, so to speak. I think everybody will have a short-term memory when this is all over that, oh yeah, I forgot, we didn't get a 5% raise, or we got a 5% raise. I just, it's been my experience, everybody will forget that. New council comes in. I'll support the group.
Yeah, but well, we have to make them a separate line then for, we'll have to have a separate line for every employee. I mean,
Not every-
not every employee, every position, because when new people are brought in, you're gonna start them at a different salary than with the 5%.
We could set up a line for each
Has
employee.
So his figures show we're gonna need about $400,000 more on the budget, but you're talking like $4 or $5 more an hour. Has anybody figured what that would be in the budget? I mean, they're gonna be close to 700,000 in the budget, that's huge.
So you're saying it's 3173 without the 5%, with the 5%, it's 3332, so it's additional.
No, I think.
I don't know what the number is now, it was 3173 this year right now.
we had.
How many employees?
Yeah.
It's now 3226.
Okay,
Josh,
Yeah.
you go with
so
21.
EMTs are 26.44. advanced EMTs, intermediate. That's what it is before the 5%. And then EMCB is 2150.
$3,000
Wayne,
If they want to buy,
I just
if
need
they
to
want
add
to
some zeros.
flat.
208.
So 41.
Okay. Wayne, you're better. What's your thoughts? I gotta set it 29 right now.
I think that then that's gonna, with his numbers, and he wants, that's gonna be $400,000 increases.
29 is not.
That's that's a 29%. We increase it to $31, $34 an hour. We're talking $700,000, but there's more in the budget, where we get for time.
Hey, they're talking them what they're doing, going which way they wanna go.
I got you.
And the reason I come up with 29, that's pretty competitive around us. That's the reason I did that, but that's not where they're at right now.
Right, that'd be a state bet.
Yeah, they did take that, yes.
And I wanna know if everybody.
That's what I was
okay with that.
That's why Josh and Wayne are my very nice.
That's what. over
The EMTs are 22.
28.
I got two EMTs here, they're at $22 an hour. The medics are at 29, Josh is suggesting 31.
Well, because
My fear would be that the next step would be to staff up and try to knock the overtime down, and then we just take it in the base pay, and then overtime gets knocked down. That's my fear, of dropping hours.
You're gonna lose these hours.
884,000, just 80, yeah.
You're not gonna get those, excuse me, my voice. You're not gonna get those hours.
My fear would be the next thing that makes sense is to knock the hours down. For you guys. Right.
Yeah,
And then once, if our pay was dropped, and then the hours, the next 6 months or whatever get knocked down. Now we're not even.
You're talking
What we're
another.
accustomed to.
So can I jump on Dale's train for just a minute?
On top of that.
I'll let you just in. But
Josh.
Dale's saying reward employees that have been here. Okay, so to step out on a limb. If medics that have been here or EMTs that have been here for this year at minimum, okay, keep them at 31. Drop the 73 cents and say 31. New paramedics to start next year. That way you're rewarding your income, your long-term employees.
Right.
And I'm not saying to the brand new paramedic that just printed their certification out, oh, look, you're gonna make the same money that I am again. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a disservice to those employees that have been there longer.
Right. And you're only talking 6 medics if you do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I agree with rewarding the ones that have been here and not so much to the new ones, but I'm just, his 29 and what's it, 22 for the other ones were $400,000 more than we approved in the budget. So if we bump that to 31, 34, whatever, we're talking $700,000, $900,000 more in the budget. Where are we getting that from? That's my question.
And Garth and I talked, and I mean, we have hired Jason Semler to come up to present to us. Money wise, and Garth was telling me there is a special tax, and I don't know if it's property tax or what it is for.
CMS lit tax is what
Okay,
it's called.
yeah, and we might need to look at that.
I can tell you right now, I just talked to Julie Lazone. Next year for 2024, she's gonna have a little over $600,000 come in on that lit tax. I believe Jason from Benton County is around 400,000.
But does our lit tax pay for jail? I mean, there is a maximum, but does that?
I think they made a comment, if I remember, I said we could do all.
Oh, but she hasn't given us our.
Right, yeah, you know,
Report yet, but that's, I know there on some of these, like, public service and.
But I think if you brought, if that AMS lit tax probably even mean $500,000.
Well, I'm looking at it right here.
That, you know, what I'm saying, that would help.
Yeah, I don't know what we have to do to input or
Yeah, right here it says Fulton signed it in July of last year, not to exceed more than 0.2% for emergency medical services provided within the county, so 0.2%.
And if Julie's making 600,000 in Park County, I mean, we have the opportunity to make more than 600,000.
And she advised me that they're utilizing this, they had to switch to hourly time and a half. She was paying the same way we were. She was running the same situation we were running into. She switched in 2023 to hourly time and a half. That money was going to be utilized to help offset her budget. Now, it's your decision on what you want to utilize that money for. I don't know all the particulars, but I think it can be utilized for other things like ambulances, equipment, or if you decide you want to put it all in the budget or whatever. I just think it would help tremendously offset that amount.
Commissioner's
Yes.
decision to.
No, we, council sets all tax rates, so, that Jason will have to tell us when it can take effect. I don't know, you have to pass, most of them you have to pass by a certain day to take effect, like on January 1, but, and then I think there's another date where it can take effect July 1 too, I believe, on some of them, but I don't know if that's one.
She had mentioned to me, Julie said that Putnam County had done it, but they had done it at a different date. But I have not talked to the director at Putnam County to get that particular answer on that. So I don't know if that's true or not. She had just said she believes that's what they did because they had put theirs in effect 6 months after they, Avenue Park County, or what she recalls. So I don't want to say 100% that's what it is, but that's what her and I had talked about on the phone. I don't know without reading the rules in it, no. There are 2 days, 1 day, whatever it is. I just think we.
Some of them are 2 and some are 1. Did you see anything?
No, I'm trying to read about that, but it's good, it's only good for counties that fund their 100%.
Yes, which we do, so.
That's true. Jason and I had talked at a conference and, he had told me that I think it's August 1st, you have to notify all the entities that it's involved in this, which all Fountain County. And then I think it has to be adopted by September 1st to go in effect for January 1.
So we wouldn't, I don't think we could get it until. Right.
Halfway through the year.
And my only purpose for saying what I said was to stir the pot to make sure that we had all the information on the table before we make the decision. So if it's an unwise financial decision, I'm supportive of the whole in the process. But I just wanted to say, yeah.
I think what you're gathering from Josh and Wayne, from the perspective is the ones that have already been here, putting them at 31 or whatever, newcomers coming in at 29 as a medic. I think you also have to look at that as from the EMT standpoint. I'm proposing 22, you know, do we drop it back, you know, to 20 or 21? You know what I'm saying? Because we have newcomers coming in also on that also. But said it's your guys' decision. I gave you a little, like I said, I just gave you some numbers to ponder on.
Well, the EMT basic, what you're proposing at 22 an hour is, this year it's 21.15, so that is an increase.
And next year it's 22, 21.
So we just make it 22 like you proposed.
Right, and then if newcomer EMTs, would you do the same you're doing with the medic newcomers? Are you gonna drop it back or are you gonna leave them at 22 also? See what I'm saying? It was suggested from them. Newcomers coming in at 29, the ones like Josh, Wayne and all them that have been here for a while, give them a little bit of that incentive to put it at 31.
For the paramedics.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so paramedics at 31 and the two, is it two?
Two right now.
No, 2 new for next year, right?
Yeah.
And start them at 20.
Actually, more new.
Paramedic?
Yeah, because right, I got to fill 2 spots, I have 2 coming in that is on that, because I asked for 2 additional paramedics, 2 additional.
Okay, so you have 2 vacancies on
Yes,
paramedics right now, plus then 2 new ones for next year. So those 4 new would start at 29 instead of the 31.
Yes.
Okay,
What about the wage for the advanced EMT?
well.
They're at 25, I mean, I've just got 1 advanced EMT right now.
Like 26.
But they're 26.44 this year.
Yeah,
So you're gonna, is that person agreeable to?
I mean, yeah, I don't physically talk to that individual.
You know, I
mean,
think
Do you want to put that,
leave that, put that, since we dropped since, make that 26, and then the new one would start at
25?
25.
Okay,
Is that agreeable with everybody?
and what are we doing with the EMTs, 22 for the present,
Yes.
and then 21 for newcomers?
Yeah,
That's still attractive.
well, will you be able to hire?
I mean, it'll be attractive, I mean, I can't say that I mean, like I said, I've got 2 individuals already and reached out to us and have heard that there was possible changes to our salary right now, and if the change comes through, they're interested in coming here to work, so,
Okay.
I mean, I can't.
Okay, so the proposed is current EMT advanced would be $26 an hour, time and a half over 40. Paramedics, $22 an hour, time and a half. And then paramedics, $31 an hour. The new hires, paramedics would be 29 per hour. EMT advanced, 25. And EMT B, 21.
So what are we doing the existing? Can you read those again, please?
Okay, so the EMT advanced intermediate for next year would get $26 an hour for 40 hours and then time and a half after that. EMTBs would be $22 an hour, time and a half up for 40. And paramedics, $31 an hour, time and a half over 40. And then new hires, though, the EMT advanced would be 25 an hour. Paramedics, 21, EMTB 21, paramedics 29. Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
everybody,
But, it means our budget is still, like you said, about 800, right?
I can imagine. I was coming up to something instead of the 397.
One thing to keep in mind is if we're going to set this, which I am in agreement with, is we're gonna have to set a time frame on the newcomers. You know, is it like at the end of the probationary period? Or a year?
yeah,
Okay.
that's, we're setting this for the all of 2024 salary ordinance. And then we'll look at it next August when we look at the budget for and salaries for the.
But if I bring in newcomers now, then I need to explain to them that like a brand new paramedic coming in, you're gonna make $29 an hour for how long? For 1 year? Okay,
1 year.
so that needs to be we need to do that in a policy then, because it's not,
So commissioners need to update the policy.
Yes,
okay. So we're doing a 1 year then on that?
yeah, salaries, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
they're all salaries are just.
Because there's nothing in the policy right now, a paramedic walking in today will make the same as what Josh is making, there's no guidelines in the policy stating. So Josh right now makes $31.73 an hour, a brand new paramedic walking in either out of school or even a seasoned one, making $31.73. I mean, present right now, if we change that, that's why I'm asking, there needs to be probationary period or whatever it is.
29 for the first
Okay,
year, and then
okay.
we'll,
That's fine,
then we'll.
because I'll have to explain to them when they're coming in where they're at.
Yeah.
So,
We'll have to share experience.
still the same, I mean, I think it's, I mean, they have to learn our line of business, I mean. I don't know,
He came in knowing that's what he's gonna make, experience or not. That's the thing he has to take into consideration. My point is, take a look at that back page, 397,000. Denise, excuse me, Denise, you said that 397 figure, excuse my point, is gonna go to be like 800,000.
Yeah, I'm just ballparking.
And that's a ballpark. My point is, I'm okay with that time and a half. Over 40. I'm okay with these rates. You guys okay with them back there? My point is how we're gonna raise that money. New guy coming in, a new guy coming in, so what's his period of probation at the end of 24? When the 24 season is done, year's done, that guy is going on a new rate. Secondly, how much are we gonna get from Lynn? That's my point. I'm all for you, but we need to raise the money. And we don't need to be deducting money in 25 from a group of guys that's out there busting that guy. That's where I am.
right,
And, but how much we gonna get from Lynn? And make sure it's gonna be there year after year, so we don't have to do that.
I can't answer that, Jason.
And Jason said, what, 3 to 4 months did they, so, and when was that? October, you would say that? So I'd say maybe in January.
Yeah, something.
That 5%, I'm back on that 5%, I think you need it. But
My,
this is to take care of all the stuff that happened before. That would be a plus for you. I'm with Jeff, it's like a bonus. And so, but
Well, but we're not doing the 5, I mean, we're changing this hourly rate.
I know, but
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's the proposal.
yeah. But that 5%, you want to take that off the table completely until the next year.
But at any rate, Tom, we're gonna have to do additions.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point during the
that with additions.
yes.
okay, so I'm gonna get to someone coming in with experience. You guys put yourself in those shoes, you go to another department and you have 10 years of experience. And they wanna start you out at $29 an hour, you're worth more than that because you have knowledge and capability. Yes, you have to learn their system, but there should be a little bit of a compensation there. Not 29, not 31 or 32, but maybe in the middle. If you have more than 5 years experience and you're a paramedic, I can't imagine walking into a job. Yeah, I took that job knowing that I could have a potential pay decrease, but man, I think I'd beg off and not do it.
I was offered a job at Porter County for $4 more than what we started out from the experience, so. That is absolutely a deal, I could go someplace else, and get paid for my experience.
Right, that's kind of what I'm thinking, they're in a struggle bus here trying to get people to work and. you
I
know,
don't agree with paying a new person that has no experience, the
Right.
same as a new person with experience, the same amount. That makes
Well, I
sense.
think that's what we need to talk with Addie and work on a policy and have those things in there, you know, with the discretion of the department head. If that person has the experience, I wouldn't have a problem with them being paid a higher amount. Just like any other job that you'd go to,
Right,
if you have
you know.
experience, you're gonna get paid the higher amount.
They're coming in with certification and training and experience.
I would,
Okay.
So that's just
So-
my thought.
So what if we do that anyone coming in new, their salary would be 21 to 22, 25 to 26, 29 to 31, and let Garth determine on his discretion on their experience.
I think it'd be based off of, I mean, you have a 90-day probationary period. So if you have an individual comes in and has 10 years of experience, that individual has 90 days to prove You know, that you can do it.
It started at 29 and you could raise it to
on
31.
after the 90-day program, and then if it's, you know, you can even,
How much did you say for a new employee without experience?
Well, we did, 29 for paramedic. Yeah, $2 less and $1 less per hour than the other.
my suggestion is changing that. Brand new employee, brand new paramedic coming out of school,
No experience.
no experience, I think not maybe necessary here, but 6 months. Because in that 6 months, you're gonna learn it. You got the 90-day probationary period, they don't have it in 90 days, then.
Well, that's why we make it 29 to 31. It's at your discretion.
$31 an hour. At $31 an hour with time and a half for 824 hours, they'll make 102, just shy of 103,000 a year. And we were in that $60,000 range.
And this would be for the basic, advanced, or
Yeah.
For paramedic.
Well, 66 plus whatever their overtime, which was at 88 an hour. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what their total salary was that they got paid.
Between 74 and 89
They were
Okay.
74 to 89.
So
this year.
they're paid by 89.
But doesn't that make sense though, that even if you have a 10-year paramedic and he comes in, he should start him on probation period, because there might be a reason why he's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I guess I would say.
I think it's not the case by case basis.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but we've got to set the salary ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, the only option I see is to do it like 29 to 31 and give him the option. I don't know any other way state board of council, or can we even do that? Can we do that?
They need to change the policy.
Yeah, the policy will have to be changed.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you can go ahead and say what your entering the hourly rate's gonna be, and then let us finish on the policy, the detail of each of those entries.
So we have more discussion, or are we ready to?
I'm going to need to know how many paramedics we have right now, how many EMTBs, we only have one EMTA, right?
Yes.
I need to know those numbers so that I can put in the salary ordinance.
Okay,
So it has to be specific.
because we have 1, 9, and 8, plus then we have for 2024, 2 new paramedics and 2
EMTs,
EMTBs.
EMTBs.
Okay,
For 24.
And you have-
paramedics.
and you have 2 paramedic vacancies right now,
Yes.
correct? So the 31 an hour we'll need to make that salary ordinance, if it passes, 6
Yes.
and 4 at 29 to 31, correct?
Four, we got 4 right now.
No, we have 6 right now. So we have 31 an hour.
Would it just be easier to figure them all at the 31, because if they eventually move up, they're gonna go to
No,
that.
because we gotta have the ordinance. It's gotta have 29 to 31 for how many people.
On the salary ordinance. She's gotta have that ready.
So if we pass the salary ordinance for all of them for 31, then
But you
that's,
need to know the numbers, right? The financial numbers,
no,
No.
just for what it's in the ordinance, okay.
so it's 6 paramedics currently at 31,
31.
and 4 at 29.
Yeah.
And then, you have all 9 EMTs, these?
Yes.
Okay, so all 9 of those would be at 22,
Mhm.
and 2 new would be at
21.
21 to 22.
Yes.
And 2.
And then 1 EMT advance will be at 26,
Yes.
and so there isn't any, you're not gonna be having a new EMT advance, right? So we don't even need to put that 25 in there.
Okay, so,
I mean, not at this point. I mean, the only option, and the only challenge you run into is if there's not paramedics available and advanced EMT comes and applies. I mean,
Right, within,
you know,
we can do a salary ordinance
Right.
change, amend that.
I mean, I'm not
This
saying
we
that-
have right.
right, yeah, I would definitely, that's what I would put,
9 at 22 and 2 at 21.
yes.
To 21 to 22,
21 to 22.
yes, because it's a business.
Okay.
I mean, if that passes, and is everybody okay with that? I know it's a lot of money, but we're gonna have to talk to
They need to be
Jason
paid.
and see.
Is it just-
They're not paid.
And
Right.
this may be very out of pocket, and I'm gonna apologize, in it, but is it that it's a lot of money now because we're trying to get caught up? And unfortunately, you are
And that,
paying
it needs to be
for
done,
stuff that's happened for the last 20 years.
Right.
exactly.
I mean, that's
That's
hard.
happening a lot.
That's a really bully way to look at it.
Right.
It's a tricky-
Okay, so is,
As soon as you find out what this one is, when you have to pass it by.
yeah, so I'll
We have an
send,
option to do on half the way through.
yeah, we do, I'll send, cause I need to give Jason this figure to add to the, information so I will send him an email this afternoon, telling what we've done here that's gonna increase our budget and ask you, well, and I'll let everyone know what he tells me on that.
Hey, you guys, everybody here appreciates your job and, we know what you have to go through and this is why we're doing this. And, but you also have to sympathize with us a little bit in the sense we have to watch our money and I sure appreciate God doing the work to.
Yeah, that's nothing.
So on the money side, on the budget side, obviously, we're gonna have to increase, come and ask for additionals.
Yeah, but let's.
When you go into this, you did not sit down,
We
go,
can ask for additional, so probably about the first part of February.
okay,
So,
we should have enough, obviously, in there to get.
I would say we probably won't worry too much about it until maybe May.
Okay, well, that's beautiful.
That way we'll see where we're at.
Okay, we'll stay.
People,
Yeah, it's fine, I just didn't know how soon you, because I know we're obviously gonna have to make.
yeah,
Okay.
DOT rates, they don't want them at us and stuff like that. It's really-
That's- Yeah, keep an eye on that. Okay.
Right, so we can't answer that, so we're like,
I know,
let me know,
I know.
not your department.
Yeah, I get 29 to 31.
29.
And then,
Did we get figured out everything's smooth on, they get paid when they're doing like bird training or travel time?
Yes.
Has that been cleared up?
Yeah, I mean, we have, I mean,
Okay, I know that was a question.
I've always paid for travel time. All the certifications that's required, like CPR, ACLS, PALS, ITLS, all those classes. It's not the expense on the employee. I pay for all that out of our training and education budget. They decide they want to travel outside of the facility to go somewhere, we pay for that. So,
We pay a mileage.
yeah, we have.
That has to be on the mileage, that should not find you.
We haven't done it for quite a while.
yeah,
We've not actually got one for a while, nobody's had any interest in it at this point, but
Okay.
I think now that we have communicated, we may get a few that don't want to do that, but we have paid that.
okay, so Jeff has made the motion to go with what's been proposed, okay, and Denise seconds it. So all those in favor? Okay, passes 7-0. Okay. Thanks you guys for what you do. I know the salary is not been the greatest, but hopefully we'll rectify it from now and, appreciate that you take care of our citizens.
Thank you. I have anything else?
You have, okay.
It's lit, you know.
No, yeah. And we will let you know. Right now. I just want to recognize Diane Hubbard is here from Congressman Bear's office. Do you have anything?
She's been a crazy year, which I'm sure is well heard through the national news, but they're still plugging along there except for this week. Glad to be here. If you have any concerns ever, just don't contact our office and, we're in Dalton County almost every month, at least I am, and, would be very happy to help you any way we can.
Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, you have a business owner here.
Yes, I should.
Salary ordinance 2022-8 for 2023 salary. What?
That we had to, update with the non-certified first responders. You guys
Oh,
voted on it last month, but I need signatures.
Okay. So is there a motion? That's where you did, what did you do, your fire department?
Non-certified or certified.
So that went, okay, so we increased it to 15 per hour. So is there a motion to, okay. Kelly made the motion, there's a second, Tom made the second, all those in favor? No. Okay, before we do the salary ordinance 2023-10, I'm gonna let Dana from 911 wants to talk to us. Dana, you're up.
I'm trying to make it short and sweet for you guys. I got 3 things I need to ask. When I did take the caliber system to the commissioners, they did vote for it, they did sign some papers. So now I'm bringing that to you guys to make the vote on the caliber CAD system.
Have we got the agreement worked out with Warren County, then are they gonna pay 50/50 on it, or?
I did talk to, Ron Cromer and, I told him about we were getting the new software and CAD system. And I remembered one of them mentioning that they would renegotiate with us if we bought new equipment. And he said he is open to that. We did not say 50/50 or anything, but, we will have to meet with them. I think they have that information, don't they?
Yes, they have all that information. Okay.
So John is well aware of it. I think that Fountain County didn't want to stick it to them, but you know, we want to do this right, and they do as well. So,
Right, plus with all the other entities, getting figures, it's like 198 for each entity to be on there. To give them that paperwork in order for them to put that in their budgets for 2025 to also keep looking into for the caliber system as well.
so we want to have an executive meeting or something with 911, I don't know, so that we can kind of discuss that, maybe we should just start there. To recoup, you know, some funds, because we are supposed to be renegotiating, but does that come up in March? And I can't remember, since that's when.
Seems like it was some March or April last year when.
Well, we need to meet with them and see what they would offer. I did put it up in there.
I have to.
So like I said, they were very open to discussing and doing what's right, because they know that they're gonna benefit in other departments, not just 911.
So what's the total of this again?
The last time I had that you gave us last that I got here, looked like the order total was 201,869. That's the last one. That's all right. And then the annual maintenance support and subscription, so it started in 2025, was 62,085.45.
And we're,
So do we know, like you're talking to Warren County, are they willing to do any of that support or no? If you're talking to Warren County, are you also talking to them about doing any of that annual support or just the initial I am, yes, I have mentioned that to them as well, yes. Just like with the other, the smaller entities too, paying back into that, so that will go as well with the annual maintenance as well. Okay. For that.
And where are we proposing this money come from?
That,
So this 263,000?
Well, next year will just be the 201,
Okay,
the
62
2025.
and 25, okay, so
The annual
201.
sport is for the first year is included in that 201.
Because we were in the red at one point on, are we still? in the
Yeah,
red?
yeah, statewide 911 fund is pretty terribly.
well, and that's where we've discussed, I know we discussed the lit EMS, but I have also discussed the lit or 911 PSAP with some of the council on, because we aren't at our max. Well, I mean, I know that would be a hit to new things and lit if the council decides to do that. Otherwise, some other fund's gonna have to pay for that, because they were 911 certainly,
And we have a general funds, general's about the only one that can handle it.
Can we use the ARP funds for that?
Anyway.
Bring more funds for the.
Just do it.
certainly.
The,
I'm
meeting,
sure.
okay, because I thought they had that webinar, I couldn't get on. Yeah, I'm trying to get on what we could, so.
No, it had nothing to do with that.
You mentioned Riverboat, there's a lot of money in there, what do you use that for, is that an option?
We use Riverboat for, and, for either the ambulance or the sheriff's department vehicles, because we don't receive.
Well, the only
what we
reason
get
I was
back.
asking about the ARP, because we did give the sheriff's department some money out of the ARP, so.
For their
Two
best,
hundred ninety
yes.
thousand.
So that's why I was just thought maybe.
I know in years past, they do the riverboat revenue sharing for software for the auditor's office.
No.
We went on to the financial.
We did not use Riverboat.
Oh, we did years ago?
No, it came out of Cume Capital Development.
Okay.
But no, the riverboat has not to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, the riverboat is basically, we can use it for what we want it, but we haven't even received any money this year, though. Oh, it shows received 0. Oh, I'm on that monthly one. That's why, that's from January 1, sorry. January 1 through October 31st, okay, so what do we get? 40,000.
Money from the fund may be used for any legal or corporate purpose of the unit.
Yeah, so, yeah, riverboat is.
If we use it for this, then we don't have it for those
The
things.
counties that have the riverboats, they pave every one of their gravel roads because they get so much money,
Yes.
but the other counties, we get a little bit, so we get 40,000, but I mean, taking,
Can we take it out of 2 different funds?
oh, absolutely. Half out of the riverboat, and half out of the general.
Because we all decided this is something we need, so.
Yeah, I think.
What-
They stated
Why don't we have say, at the very least, I've already discussed this in the past year. When I was a 911 board member with the other police chiefs of the city. They've been getting a free ride on these. Using the same CAD system that we pay for. They use it for report writing, they use it for their calls for service, they get free total use out of this. I think it's a point where we need to sit down with the city councils and say, hey, we need to come up with a fee here annually for the usage of this CAD. Now, whether you guys decide to pay for the whole CAD with Warren County and then the user fee annually gets divided between all the cities that use it and the counties, that's up to you. I don't care, but I did already put a bird in their ear about, hey, the free ride's over. With what towns?
Thank you.
Attica and Covenant. So, and I did say something to the Petersburg Marshal about it, because they're using it too. They ordered new computers for their cars, they're gonna start using it to So as far as the full-time police departments, is who I've reached out to.
And they do for public, so, private safety, I mean, they could turn that over to
Right.
the county. Yes, and help pay.
So if you go that far, you have to talk to Warren County about their little towns.
Williamsport would be.
That's the only one, oh, West
West
Lebanon.
Pleasant's got-
There's their part-time.
I don't know.
To the town
Yeah.
council. Also, as their chiefs and their marshals, I've sent emails to them and I've been talking with them on the funds and, you know, the ability to start helping pay into this. So
And
I have.
okay. I don't know who, I mean, is that a commissioners that have to pass an ordinance to pass?
Well,
the
we'll
bill
be
on?
seeing him tomorrow, so I'll ask him that, because we had talked about this for years and then was told, you know, the public safety funds gets distributed to the cities and towns and the county. And like you said, why can't we bill them for something that we're paying for? But they can't spend it. So, you know, live peace out, you know, that would be his money from how I understood. You would share it with the units, and so that would help.
If we approve to pay for this at the 201, you know, the first year, will Warren County be less apt to kick in because we already approved it? I mean, I guess I'm curious, how much do we approve here? And we don't know if they're gonna kick in some.
Right, well, the commissioners
If we
will be
approve it all,
negotiating, yeah,
And then They
negotiating.
negotiate what we already paid for it.
Well, I think we need to start with having an executive 911, and then if we need to have a joint meeting with the Warren County Commissioners to discuss, I'm sure their council's gonna wanna be on board on, well, we agreed to this, but so maybe we need to have a joint with all our councils and all our commissioners as well.
I know they are not bucking up the system. I know that they want the system. I know that they know that we need the system. They want it to work, and I know that they'll be there, you know, to help us along the way as well. I did get an email from Barry because I'm making sure that I'm passing everything through Barry, and he goes, well, I heard it was already passed. I said, well, that's news to me because I've not heard that yet either. I said, where'd you get your news? He goes, well, Warren County told me. I was like, oh, okay. So, but I have not gotten anything in writing. I've not gotten anything of that sort from Warren County.
Okay, so here's, I'm just gonna,
Also, I want to say, they did state that this bulk 201 does not have to be paid all right at that upfront moment. It can be split into two different payments if need be.
how long is this proposal good for?
I told them I would go back today after I talked to you guys to see where we're at. And then they kept it for me. It was supposed to be the 15th, but they keep prolonging it for me. And it's the same stuff. They're not switching anything. They're not taking anything away from us. You know, if they want to add, we can add, but they've kept it as is.
We could,
Pay half and
we could
don't
do half.
bill Warren County.
You know, we could do have, and that was time to get the money again.
Okay.
I don't
I
wanna,
say we-
I don't wanna wait another month,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
but I'm waiting now, so you're approving it all.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
If we pay half of it now, I have no funds available.
How about we
We
approve?
cannot do additional at this point.
Oh, okay.
So, but can we do it for January?
Can we approve it if we pay January 2nd or whatever?
No,
It depends on when DLGF opens up the additional.
yes, because
I
they
mean,
don't
you
like.
guys, I can
February.
advertise it and have it ready to go, but I won't be able to get approval.
Okay,
Now, if we use our own funds, I don't.
do we have 100,000 in the council? In any of those funds?
I do have, like, next year out of, Riverboat, we have 117,000 already appropriated, 67 is to the sheriff. And another 50,000 was before the, PHI, which that is spent. There'll be an extra 3,000 there because it did come in a little under. But, see. You want me to check on that?
Yeah, what do we have? When's the payment due, Dana?
I have reached out to them after, I've talked with Colleen about funds and everything like that, because I'm still learning on how this is all working. So I did reach them out and I said, I don't know if we were unable to do this in January, we might be able to do this in February. Unfortunately, Jason was out of the office for that whole week, so I've not been able to check my emails. Everything that we have come at them, they have met us with open arms and have been very, very
welcoming on helping us to get this and doing what they can do to get us to. So if it is February, then it can be. If it's Jan, you know, however we can get the funds, then they said they will work with us.
We could.
Just like the two Calvin bought out our jail software also, and they're giving us a facelift at the jail at no cost.
Oh,
So
sweet.
I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, I met with them the week they met with her, it's Calvin Gas. It's gonna stay the same system that we have, but they're doing a major facelift on it, getting it more up to date.
So I'm guessing this will get that they have in February.
Yeah,
or
should,
January.
and then get, see what we got left in our council.
It's getting warm in here, I'm warm.
87,000, can we pay them 87,000, right,
Keep going.
to get going,
Has it like a deposit.
like a deposit?
Okay, well, as soon as I'm done here, I will shoot him an email. He should
Okay.
be back. If not, they've got a couple others that will
So,
contact me.
so that's what we have left in our council.
Let me back this report up to go to the 18th, just so that,
Okay,
see if we've got anything coming out of there, because we are paying something, other things out of there besides,
Yeah.
on a monthly basis, so. Yes. Basically, about it.
Let you know as soon as I-
okay, so we can pass it, provided they're in agreement, we'll
Yeah, okay.
give them 87,000 and the rest
Do we
after.
want to go full 87? Is that, are you comfortable with that, or should we go 80 or?
Make it 85, would you?
Yeah, that way if I have anything.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't wanna.
Sit down.
No, yes. at the end of the month.
I don't like that.
Yes, no.
Okay, so there,
She doesn't want you to overdraft.
yeah, we don't need any more accounts in the red. Okay, so 85,000 out of the council budget, so she can get a contract signed, provided they are agree with that. You pay it out of that, there's a motion to do that,
I'll make the motion.
okay? Is there a second? Okay. John and Denise, all those in favor? Okay.
Yes.
It sounds like you said they.
Yes.
And we need
Getting
to
ready.
take what steps we need to do to
Make it happen.
make it happen with the Kent cities.
And
So like, this year, I'd like to get started on the additional.
oh my gosh, is that like the idea right now?
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
I fixed that, big.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to,
Oh,
I know we talked budget, when we talked about what that did first.
yeah.
The part-time for dispatch, what did we all agree on upping that to? Did we agree? I can't remember, I do apologize.
We have the four salary. There's 17.
Okay, I would like, if I can do that, be up to $19. We are getting fully staffed. We've had a couple dropbacks. I've had to get rid of an individual. However, I've got two part-timers that are ready to step into full-time, and that is going to cut down on my overtime. But to get people in here to want to work part-time for me,
I would appreciate it if we could do the $19 an hour just for part-time. I don't feel like or think that I will be needing to ask for any more money on that aspect for the budget for that, just up in the hourly rate.
Like part-time workers you got right now.
I know I have three, I have three,
And they're ready to go full-time.
they're ready to go full-time. I'm gonna have to make another staffing decision here shortly to see what's going on with this individual. However, I've got them that are ready to step into that spot, so no overtime will be needed, no more. I've got one that's still in EMD class, but she just started, so she came back.
How many,
Look at your budget.
Yes, I will.
Take that.
My
Can
budget,
you handle that?
can I handle this budget? I can handle the budget, but I do wanna talk to you about my salary as director.
how many part-timers do you like to have?
I like to have three.
Okay,
Actually, two of it suffice, just in case I do have somebody, you know, that I need to let go, or they decide to go to a different career. That way, the part-timers, they're already there, they already have had the schooling, they've already been there, they've done the 40 hours, they know what's going on, so they can step into that full-time position. I do have one part-timer that will not come into full-time because she's already got 2 other jobs. She's just doing it because she enjoys the chase.
right.
And that's fine, she's good at what she does. So to have a cushion is 2,
Kudos to her for 3 jobs.
yes, very kudos. I just want to touch base just for a few minutes and then I'm gonna talk fast, okay?
He already left, so.
There you go. Okay. I just want to talk about my budget, just the director's budget of dispatch. I know that, you know, salaries are been talked about, budget's been talked about. Yes, our 2 counties are around 26,000 individuals. However, we dispatch out for 24 different entities. That's your fire, ambulance, and police. The surrounding counties that have approximately around 26,000 residents, they do not dispatch out for that many entities at all. Some's just fire, some just like police, not even ambulance for that. Also, my facility, I make sure that everybody is trained, their licenses are good and valid, and our contracts are current and they're accepted. Also, we were in a world of hurt when I got here. ABCO, we are one of the only medical facilities as dispatch that can dispatch out for medical. My dispatchers have a class they have to be schooled in, and they have to pass this class in order to give pre-arrival medical instructions to anybody that calls 911 needing medical assistance or an ambulance. We have other counties that are not. So those counties, they dispatch that out to a different county and that comes into. So Benton County is not EMD certified. They have to call Tippecanoe County to get Tippecanoe County to come in. So Tippecanoe County dispatches that out. So you're losing 2 to 3 minutes. That Warren County dispatch, you're not losing that, you're getting that. Our APCO certifications were null for 6 of us. They were not put back into the application. We were 1.5 months of being shut down from medical, being able to do our medical dispatches out. It took me that long to find the certificates and get them back into APCO and to get my individuals to have a recourse or class in order for them to accept us as a medical, the emergency dispatch center. The hours that I put in, I understand that my job is 24/7. There's times I'm in here at 9 o'clock when I'm not 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight. I understand that. My lowest hours that I put in was my last paycheck salary was 80 hours. I am averaging 150 to 220 for 2 weeks. All I'm asking is that my salary would be moved a little bit more closer to the other heads of Fountain County that take care of ambulance, that take care of highway, that take care of health. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for myself per se, I'm asking for my center. For those, if I need to pave the way, I need to pave the way. That's what I'm asking, if you guys can reevaluate or relook at my salary, what I'm making. So the percentage that I'm getting this year, I'm getting an extra $2,000 for 2024. For what I do, what I have to do with 2 counties. Actually, we are the only one in Indiana that's 2 counties, and they make examples of it, which is pretty awesome. You know, they use us a lot in what in teaching forms for other counties. So I just would like for you guys to take in consideration, talk it over, and just let me know. That's what I'm asking. That's what I've come forth to, that, the caliber in my partner. We've got a good crew. We've got a lot of people that want to be there and want to take care of Fountain and Warren County residents. You can see it, you can hear it, you can hear the change out in the radio world from police to amber, police from ambulance to fire. You can hear it. It's been a total change. So I appreciate everything that you guys do. I appreciate who and every one of you are. I'm just asking that you revisit a few things for me. Please.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You okay? Somebody good? I mean, it's good. Good, that's good. I thought that might have been. That's really cool. Everybody got out, that's a plus. Oh, you're in. Salvation is basically giving you services in the Salvation You guys have any more questions for me?
Let's do the part-time. She wants to raise that from $17 to $19 an hour. Any discussion on that?
Well, it goes back to that being able to get people to do it.
That's not out of line.
No,
What people are being offered now.
You have it ready to go.
I have two ready to go into a position if need be.
Right.
So that cuts down overtime for my full timers. Part-time can come in and work the overtime for the $17 versus my full timers that are $33 or $22 for overtime. So I utilize those as much as I can and also work with myself as much as I can to help cut down with costs.
Right.
What's the part-time, what's the other part-time hourly wage? What would it be here for? Other part-time hourly wage. You got the count.
What's the part-time wage for this?
Yeah.
It's proposed at $17 per hour.
For 2024, she would like to bump it an additional $2.
And she got 10,000 budgeted, so it's about 185 hours. For 175 hours per employee.
And you said a minute ago she could
It's
handle
$526.
Yeah,
$19 an hour, but
So is there a motion to approve part-time from 17 to 19 an hour? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Kelly, I assume she.
Yes. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's-
Yes.
so, second, okay, so 7-0 for that, okay, any discussion on the salary for the director of the United? Questions on that?
Dave, I think you do a lot. From what I've heard you say here this morning, you do a lot. I was just thinking compared, you said with the rest of the Fountain County officers.
Oh, I understand completely.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying give me a $20,000 raise. That's not what I'm saying. Meet me halfway.
Yeah.
You know, meet me, show
Halfway.
me, you know, give me a little,
Halfway puts her at 65,736
you know,
between the ambulance and highway.
And also you said was for the center.
yes.
In other words,
for
you
my
want to
center.
raise the rate for the center because you've been acknowledged. And I still think you do a tremendous amount of hours work. You're coming in at three, how many hours you think in a month? Excuse
A
me.
month.
A month, about a week, how about a week?
So my lowest paycheck was last week, which was only 80. The one prior to that was 160 hours. One prior to that was 220. You know, I'm not one just to leave no seat unturned. And if that means that I have to come in, then I'm gonna come in and do it. I understand that's my job. And I understand that when I took that, and I'm wholeheartedly gonna do that. I'm just asking for a little bit is what I'm asking.
So you, we've always, for years, we have always been using overtime. And constantly.
Get that.
And now you've alleviated some of that. A lot.
And I'm trying to alleviate most of it is what I'm trying to do, because to me, overtime's a punishment to a business. So, you know, if I can help and try to get that overtime knocked down completely, understand, yes, there's gonna be here and there, but if I can get it, because it's been a lot. It has been a lot since I've taken over. We've had a lot to deal with and a lot to handle and to take care of since I've been in here. So I'm getting that, and eventually I'm hoping by December 31st, I won't have to use so much overtime at all. That's my hope.
So you sent them in to go, looking at about $65,000.
Yeah,
Is that right?
That's,
Where's Kelly looking
I
at that?
did, I just, yeah, it's an average.
Which is about a $14,000-15,000 raise, you know?
Hey, I gotta say this, I'm not comfortable talking about people's salaries and
No.
people's information. I don't know if we can have some sort of executive session, I'm asking legal, but when we're at school, when we had to talk about personnel, any kind of personnel, we did it in private, in executive session, and I'm not comfortable here talking about that.
I agree, yeah, I agree. I'm good.
It's just something.
I think that's something, I don't think that's an executive session thing, I think it's something that just has to be in public.
People aren't gonna be frank in front
I sent you both
of.
again.
In front of the public, that's.
Since you voted, yeah. So it's tough.
Good.
And you start asking questions,
Oh, yeah.
and there's things that need to be private.
So I don't know whether we can adjourn the meeting after, huh?
He said it can.
I mean, I don't,
Has to, you have to.
it's something we have to, I mean, you have to pass them now, right? You know? Is that right? Is that budget like?
The salary.
That's
So
salary.
it's that it can be amended. It's just office holders, we have to set office holders, but I don't think department heads is part of that, right? We can, it's just elected officials, we cannot change the salary anytime during, it has to be passed by December 31st. But all the others can be amended at any time, so we can discuss it and we can make amendment on that. And we,
Yeah, I'll double check that anytime, yeah.
Okay.
That can be amended for sure.
okay, so we'll have attorney look into whether we can have an executive session or because I don't know on salaries. If that's,
I mean, if you guys wanna discuss it and whatever, fine, but I'm not,
we'll see legal counsel and tell us what we.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yes.
is it yours, I mean, all salaries can be amended anytime during the year except elected officials. Okay,
Yes.
So you will change that, right?
so it can't change.
Because I think what our thought was, so last time we discussed it is, you know, kind of wait and see.
Yeah, it's got, but I mean, when the board that hired you, when is it, because I think you're on probation for a certain time period, right?
Barry had a meeting with me, said that he was very pleased and he's not had any complaints and they're not going to, I'm going to continue.
But the
Right.
board that's the commissioners and sheriff and both sheriffs don't they have,
We will be having a meeting.
yeah, the executive? So that's when you'll determine whether this should,
I assume so.
okay, so we'll get our legal advice and then. we'll see.
Yeah.
So does it would be appropriate for that board to come back with a recommendation for salary for you guys, rather than?
That would be very nice, since it is a two-county
Yeah.
decision that executive committee should come back. and give
Because I
us
just
the
suggest it comfort, you don't wanna just publicly talk about.
right, we didn't do it at school. I don't understand why they're in the law with, county business. I just don't.
I know, I mean, school could have a lot of executive sessions, but then we're really limited on what we can have an executive session on. I think it's more on discipline that we'll have Taylor find out for us, okay?
Yep.
Okay, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You guys are good.
Let me know if that 87 or 85,000.
Yes, I will. As soon
Get
as
us
we get there,
going
I
until
will
the
know.
first of the year, we can see what we got.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now the salary ordinance 2023-10. Oh, okay, well, we can sign that, can we sign that in January, we can vote to approve what we made changes. I mean,
Oh.
vote on to approve it, and then you can get all the changes.
I have a copy because I was speak off. Let me get another copy.
Okay, well, then
I
let's,
say no
let's go to
copy.
this agreement with Envoy or. So Garrison is Terry or, Andrew, they still here, they have any, Andrew have anything else for us?
Andrew. Yep.
No, nothing else for that, okay. Is Jenny here from the health department?
Yeah.
Jenny, you have anything for us?
I don't have any, Colin, did you have the number to do? Do that again. I used to reimburse it, Colin had, so.
Okay.
We'll do nothing.
Yeah, we gave her, for all the small ones, we gave her permission to do those.
Okay, I was making sure that got,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's been done, I guess.
Alright, yeah.
Is Joshua still here?
You'll get money back this year.
Do what?
You're getting money back this year, unless we have like a bustle like you get really after none this afternoon.
Okay, good, that goes into rainy day,
Yeah, there you
part of it, 20%.
Yeah.
Jason had something. Jason.
I don't know if you guys would be okay with me presenting this to the commissioners. I was okay with moving forward with analytics.
Oh, yeah, but I figured you'd already talked to the commissioners about it.
Okay, I have money in my budget. that I-
I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great program, so, and yeah, so you got money budgeted, so the commissioner approve your spending, so.
Well, I just want to make sure you pull back, we did anything, so.
Yeah,
If it's okay, we're going to get back to the shop.
yep, okay, thank you. Tina here from
Yeah.
EMA.
Yeah.
All right, I just got a couple of things.
Okay.
I'm posting out the grants for the end of the year. And also the declaration disaster that was in June 29th. Highways Department should be getting a check. City already got theirs, so that's going around. So I guess I'm gonna belly up to the table like everybody else and discuss my pay. All I need to know, short and sweet, a decision has been made. If it's concerned where the money comes from, we already know I get the reimbursement back, the money's already spent. So,
I think our discussion with her is whether she should be exempt or not.
I'm not,
That's a commissioner policy that.
Well, Abby told us over there that it was like, the salary is 35,000 or more. I mean, 35,000, you were. You can be, but then they were upping it to 55,000. I don't know when that 50.
That's just a discussion about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they butted up to the deadline a couple of years ago and those people got changed and then they decided not to do it. So that rule to change salary.
So that's been kind of lax, I think, the way it is now, a lot of the department heads, you know, whether directors, Tina, those that have been appointed, they've been claiming comp time because, you know, of the unknowns. So that's probably something we need to talk with our attorney. Again.
Okay, yeah, so we need a legal opinion on whether, who's entitled to overtime.
Right, who's
And
excluded, who's
who's
not. Yeah.
excluded, so,
right.
yeah,
But I'm also talking about the discussion of the 20% that I asked for
okay,
and where the money could come from, which is that grant, which is already spent on my salary. I get it back, which is roughly 8,000 something, 8,300 something, that you'd have to take out of that 33,000. So it's not like you have to look for it or find it, so.
and I think what the discussion that Because they don't wanna talk salary and.
Right, that's
So-
what I had to
So we'll
tell
put
you.
you down too
Okay.
for the, for,
Yep.
Taylor to look into, and then we'll see what, so we can have a discussion about it, okay?
Thanks.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Dina. Greg, got anything, landfill? No, good, okay. So then, salary ordinance,
Okay, I got it. I went ahead and changed the part-time to 19 an hour, since you
Okay.
voted on it. Made that change. I still need to change after the first of the year, the EMTs and any decisions that are coming
on
in.
those other
But-
two, this is way in right now, I mean,
Yes.
you have the. So you'll need to, we can. We've already approved the EMT thing, so you just need to print the new rates on here, right?
Mhm.
And so the back page, we can go ahead and sign in if we approve. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the salary ordinance as presented? And then we'll decide on those two that are
And as
questions,
presented includes the $19.
includes the $19 and what we decided on the.
I'm not gonna read that change, but I will, and then I'll send the.
I'd like to find a copy of that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I make the motion.
okay. Okay, for a second. All those in favor?
Mhm.
Okay, 7-0. Okay, sorry, Brenda, I put on their agreement with Envoy and then we got.
I know everybody had to get back to their offices.
Yep,
So do you have questions for me? I will let you know that tomorrow, Tim and I, Roger and Jeff are gonna meet with Dan Taylor, and I assume Kent, to go over the DOT process. Envoy, as we speak, has been working in the background, coordinating, with the other vendors, RQAW, Marisco, Arcturus. Roger is gonna be pulled in, Cordon, KJG, thank you, I won't say him for some reason. And there's probably some companies that I'm missing. I think there was probably about 30 of us on a Zoom call at one time. Roger wasn't included in that, but we have since he's gonna get pulled in. So a lot of the, vendors are working on what they're needing to do. Envoy is collecting their information. Like out here, Roger, the information that they collect is.
They're doing the financial proposal and the technical proposal, putting the thing together.
And so we have Roger kind of separate that because we're already under contract. So that was one of the things in Envoy's agreement. We want to make sure that that was, and our attorney and Cameron, they're working on the legal aspect, ironing out everything so that the county is protected. And so I sent that agreement to all of you. I know it's expensive, $1.6 million up to. I think I had Dustin online, if you have any questions for him. I really didn't see a need, for him to be here, so that's.
I guess my question is, one, where's the 1.6 million gonna come from? And two, I thought we hired Jason at $40,000 to look at all this and see what we can afford to do.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I don't wanna vote on spending $1.6 million when I don't even know where the money's coming from.
And I can't answer that for Jason. I know Jason was gonna wait until the end of the year to get the ending balance of the Colleen.
Right.
Now, from what I've understood on the projects that we're working, we're wanting to annex done right now, and we do have some starting funds, ARPA funds to get that going, and we have been using some of those funds. Jason is well aware, he is involved in all these Zoom calls as well. I pulled him in from the beginning, so he would know what money do we have, how can we proceed and everything, so.
And another thing I'm kind of a little concerned was, you know, the jail was a $17 million project, and we paid $500,000 fee, which is 3%. And this 1.6 million is almost 10% fee on the projects.
Because the projects could be up to $30,000, is that is that the figure you were going with?
No.
What figure were you going with?
I thought, what I've seen is like 15 or 16 million, and we're paying project manager 1.6 million, which would be 10% of the project. Well, we paid 3% on the jail. So that just, I mean, I'd like to know more things.
The courthouse and the annex. And Jeff, do you remember seeing the figure? I remember seeing 20 some of the 30.
It was gonna be 20 to 25.
And there were,
Okay, where's that money coming from?
that's where Jason's gonna help us. I can't answer those questions.
I know, but I don't want to spend 1.6
And we're
million
gonna be spending
dollars.
1.6 like right away. It's, basically, I don't know if Justin wants to chime in. It's kind of like an on-call. Jeff, you've
Yeah,
experienced.
what they did with us, school in Envoy was excellent. We did a gymnasium and an enclosure on Mount Central, and they were, building managers, I call them. And we paid, substantially for Envoy, so they're top of the line, but they do everything for you, and they're very good as far as meeting with you every month or every week or two, a building meeting. But they're top of the line, they're up there as far as money, but they do help you with a little bit with financing. We did a bond and got all that done, and they were even helping with the community and things like that. So they're high, and they're a lot higher now than they were when we built the jail. But I would recommend them 100%.
But again,
I asked Brenda the same question you asked her, and so we could get a little bit of an idea of where we're gonna get the money, and if we could bond, if we could use the bot, whatever, and that's where he comes in.
I guess my issue is it's kind of hard for us to move forward if I don't sign a contract with Envoy for them to do what they need to do. So if we wait for Jason, now you're holding up this too, because I don't know what Jason brings to the table. If Jason can help out Henry County in the red in a short amount of time, like a year and a half or two, we spoke about that at the commissioners conference. I'm very confident looking at our funds. Our most expensive project is gonna be the courthouse, and that's gonna be a couple, 3 years down the road. So I think that's where a lot of our expense is gonna be, and we should have the answers as far as how we're gonna come up with the funds, because I think this courthouse will be a bonded project. I mean, it'll have to be. We could do a short-term borrow if we need to borrow, or getting the highway building done, the annex and the other building. I don't know, that's not my profession, and I feel very confident in Jason that he will have the right information for the council and to feel confident about what they're doing.
Do we know when Jason's gonna get back with us? I know he's waiting for the end of year balances. How long do you think it'll take for him to get back to us?
well, he told us 3 to 4 months.
Oh, my.
And
But does it
that
mean
was
after
October.
the end of
No, I
the
thought it
analysis,
was,
or?
I thought he said 3
That's
months when we.
But if he's waiting until the end of the year,
He's not gonna have to January.
any balances are.
So, yeah, I'd say January, February.
Is there a deadline for you to sign the contract?
I would have to ask Justin if he's online. I don't know. He could answer that. Is he still on calling?
I think so. My fear is since you don't, what anything from Jason, I have confidence in him, but what if we decide, okay, the third project, the courthouse just isn't feasible yet? Well, we gotta back it up.
Yeah, but
So then, does the 1.6 get dropped? I mean, I know we pay that monthly prorating, but will they adjust that cost because they were not gonna do that project for maybe 3 years now? I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that might be a question we can ask Dan and Kent tomorrow when we meet with them on the VOT. I just need to know to get things going so that we can be ready for our commissioner meeting to sign a contract, because we put it off
Right,
already.
and I'm trying to think.
Because I wanna make sure I have council's support, on moving forward, because I know it is a lot of money, but yeah, it's gonna have to be done, so we're gonna do it.
Might have to do a project at a time, replace the roof, and then do one floor at a time.
Well, but we did decide our priority as far as council was getting that annexed done.
And
Yeah.
that is still our.
And the highway.
Envoy knows what our priorities are, and they know that this courthouse is gonna be the last thing, and it's gonna take a lot of time to do bonds for the courthouse. But they still have to tell you what their fees are gonna be, but it's including all of it.
My thing too is if we wait and don't include this courthouse, the fees when we come back to do the courthouse are going to be higher than they are now. So do we lock in a rate in anticipation of the project?
We're already taking $2.4 million out of the pockets of the
Right.
taxpayers to pay for that jail. And that's at 17 million, and you're talking twice that. I mean, we're gonna take another 6
No,
million
no,
out of
I'm
there.
just, what I'm saying is
I-
if you wait, it may be higher yet. But we don't even have an actual figure.
No, that's right. I mean, I think we need to look at the
So that's
projects,
what I'm trying to
everything priced out and
Yes.
then know what. Because we have to,
We're beholden.
we have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to find the money.
Yep.
And we need to be in on it and decide, okay, we've got enough money, let's do this project now, this project, and let's do it. And I don't think we've been given enough information to make any of that decision.
But Dudley, we have somewhat committed to.
Yes, I mean,
And it's-
we've said, yes, we want to get Maple Corner done, and we got $1 million set back for that.
But we're still looking at quite a bit of money.
So in Arcature and Ameresco, in their combined report, it's anticipating that it could cost up to 27 to 30 million dollars. Envoy is saying it could be 1.6 million. There's still some things that can be negotiated to take away. We did that with the jail, so when you have this massive figure, and I get it. But I need support of everyone so that we can move forward and have you in the know. I mean, I'm trying to keep council involved. Jeff, offered to come and, talk with the attorneys about the BOT, just so he could better understand it and share it with you guys so that we are doing the right thing.
I just would feel more comfortable after Jason presents to us, because, I mean, we've spent almost $1 million more today than we budgeted. And, and our budget is 2 or 3 million more than what we're probably gonna collect next year. I just am not comfortable on voting. I will
So
probably
are
abstain.
you scrapping all the projects or what are you saying?
No, I'm saying I want to know where the money's coming from.
And that's
Yeah.
Jason's gonna have to
Right.
share that information. I can't speak for Jason.
So I'm saying I prefer to wait until Jason tells us what we can afford, where the money's coming from before we sign a contract. Or before we put money for a contract.
Ask Brenda a question, Brenda. I want to say this right. You have proposed 3 different objects and projects to us. I've read the rates, not read everything that's supposed to be done. Also, you heard what happened today. No, I don't think we ought to scrap. but I don't think we should have all three projects. You wanna say, do the courthouse later. And how you're gonna do that courthouse, you're really asking, we do this center around here. Then we have room to put people
Right.
out there, offices. I'm not all for that. That's the reason why I'll drag my feet a little bit. I kinda like to see some things done on this courthouse that needs to be done. But at the same time, I'd like to get our annex started, finished. How far out would that be if we really need a ride? The highway, thinking in the background, health wise. So I think we need to do the projects. I think the building you're worried right now needs a roof. And I don't wanna move that down the line 5 to 10 years. What Jeff said is annex. What's it gonna cost us? Tentatively right now, that annex is, work on the annex. We got our money involved already with it. How much is it going to cost to complete that annex? We got a man right now waiting that would save us money. Our coroner, then when it all started out, we had adequate equipment. Found out that's a bunch of trash. But it's a place for him to go. If we could get that set up a piece at a time, you know, how much would that bother him? How much would it bother other officers in that building? So I think what Dudley says, you know, we're not trying to piece it, but get some of it done without getting ourselves in the red. And all right now, you already know, you're gonna do this building, it's gonna be a bond. It's gonna be a bond. And I'm okay with that. But it was the order in which we get this stuff done that bothers me. And how much money we got out there with Envoy. You know, we're on the line. You sign that contract, you're on the line, and so are we. And so that's where I am. Let's do something. Let's get some ideas together. That's something. And how we're going to pay for it. So that's where I am.
Well, and that's where, you know, we started out the annex, we have 1.3 million to go towards that, and I think if I remember the figures right, 2 million to 3 to do the annex. Okay, so we got 1.3, so we got the majority of the money to do that. Okay, how are you gonna do the highway? I don't know. Jason's job is to look at all our funds. We might be able to pull a little bit out of this fund, a little bit out of that fund. We may have to borrow, do a short-term borrow. I don't know. Those are some of the things that they will suggest that we do. And then the council's gonna have to decide, can we just make payments, kind of like a lease payment? I don't know. That may be the way the highway building will go. You build it and then you just pay a lease, and then when it's done, then you pay it off. Yes. So I mean, I think the first 3 projects are gonna be, they're gonna hurt a little bit. We got some money. We're lucky that we have some money to start out with. And you don't have to worry about borrowing. We don't have a debt. Will we? Probably, but I think it'll be pretty minimal. The courthouse, we gotta keep that in mind so that we can do it as soon as these others are, they may overlap a little bit. And I know that makes you a little nervous, but it's stuff that's been needing to be done for a long time. We don't want the pipes in here to burst. Yes, there's been issues with the roof ever since we put it in. Then we put a new elevator in, that added to it. So I get what you're saying. I'm very confident in Baker Tilly of helping us to get it done. And I think some of you have that faith in the company that they're gonna be able to help us. Because we can't think of how it can possibly get done because shoot, it's too overwhelming.
I will say Envoy is very helpful, even in bids and things like that. It's why their cost is so high. I mean, they do all the legwork, all the architecture stuff, drawings, meetings, that sort of thing, that I guess I'll say we've already committed to the two, pretty much. The two would be the annex and the highway building. I mean, we gotta have it. They bought Nickel Corner, so we gotta go ahead and finish it. And the courthouse, don't get me wrong if I say but to me, it's a building that's got a lot of age on it and needs to be, taken care of. It's really in not very good shape, so. I guess that's what I'll say. I get where you're headed. I agree with you.
You know, I agree. These things have to be done, but you know, you gotta look too, we get 46 cents tax dollars, and schools get $3, $4, $5 per $100. They can pay for bonds for, I don't know where our money's gonna come from, and I'm hoping Jason will be able to tell us some things we can do, but, you know, we spend even $2 million a year more on our budget than we're gonna be taking in. That little bit of, what is it, $13 million is gonna be gone in no time.
Well, I will say this meeting today, we spent some money.
And we did. And people talk about how bad their property taxes are right now, and they're complaining about it, and then we wanna sock them with more taxes. And we're talking about doing the ambulance tax and, you know, I don't know how much the taxpayers are gonna take before they're gonna start revolting and come to us, so that's. I would just like to have more information from Jason before I know we need to do these projects, but I don't want to spend any money until I know more information. That's my take.
Where the two projects, annex and garage, where would you start first?
Well, I already told you, and Envoy even knows that the annex needs to be done first. I need to move 911. They can be working on the highway department because Roger is working, you know, with the environmental aspect, the design of the buildings. So that stuff is being worked on right now, right? So the two of those could be, you know, going on at the same time. I just need to make sure that we have all our ducks in the row for our other projects so that we're not scurrying around. We know exactly what we're gonna be getting into for the courthouse, because that's gonna be our baby.
So in the meantime, we got a problem here at the courthouse. We need to replace the roof. We got X amount of dollars, but Envoy, they're gonna expect payment. We already started on the annex, started on your garage. You know, where are you? Now, how much money are we gonna have? You know, where are we going to be? We're looking at 3, 5, 6 years down the line here. Some of them are not complete. We don't know where the money is, and we still have things coming at us, the roof, whatever. And that's where I get a little bit antsy, okay?
I agree. So the construction, the public hearing for the BOP will be in February. Once that gets rolling, they're gonna start on the annex. I mean, we can start on the highway building anytime, it's just what fund do you want to pull those funds out of? And are we gonna have to pay a little bit up front? I don't know. That's where Jason's gonna have to help us with that. Do we have funds to go to? Yes. But I understand we also have to have a certain balance in those funds in order for your budgets to be approved. So I understand all that.
And they run the rest of the county for those years. And we don't know what some of those dollar bills may look like. Would be lit. We just already try to use lit today to take care of the employees.
So the most important thing in your eyes is getting a roof on the courthouse. What cost are we talking about for a new roof for the courthouse?
I mean, to me, we've always reacted to things that happen in the courthouse. I'll just use courthouse, you know, whether it's this broke down, we replaced multiple air conditioning units, whatever. Because they're old. You know, so if we get these other projects done and be focusing on this and what is gonna go into it, that's where your majority of your costs gonna be. But again, I think it's gonna be a bond, and so they need time to prepare for that. But we're not talking 6 years out there of starting this. I mean, it's gonna take longer than a year to do, but because they're basically gutting, removing old pipes, removing asbestos.
But
Mold.
I thought we've been told the roof is a structural problem.
Yeah.
And that what needs to be fixed first is a structural problem. We got cracks in the wall, and is that because of the roof?
Well, there's been leaks through the years that have caused issues in various.
And the chimney, yeah, we were gonna take that chimney down. We even had a crane already lined up to come in, and then they got pulled.
I know.
So,
The court itself, when you go in there, it's pretty ugly as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing that bothers me is when you have a prosecutor down there and he's got a counter that he works at and he can't be private with anybody, you know, to do business. I mean, there's other offices in here, same way. It's kind of it's an old building and it's old offices and security isn't the best as far as the board, so.
And let's talk about the front doors.
Yeah. So it's not just a roof.
no, but I mean, to me, structural problems should be fixed.
Yeah.
first. If it is a structural problem, that should take top priority.
And I'm surprised.
Your problem always starts on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any building, not this one, any.
right.
The problem starts on the roof. Once you start getting seepage down to the foundations, you get heaving, you get settlement, that's where your cracks show up. You gotta address it.
Yeah.
And then you can start maybe stepping to the offices and everything.
And that's what I'm saying is, let's get that roof, if it's a structural problem, let's get that roof fixed. And we can do a floor at a time if we have to, as our money comes.
We've been talking about the roof for a long time.
I know, I am. Exactly.
We can at least get the roof done and then go back to the annex. Get this roof sealed up, stop some of the hurt. And then focus on the annex and get it done in the highway building, then come back to this building. I think, I kind of agree, the roof has to be done. If you don't have a roof, you don't have anything.
Right.
But Brenda, you're here talking about the onboard contract.
Mhm.
That's
And
the
that can be
topic.
discussed. We can tell Envoy, hey, it's been brought to our attention. We know that the courthouse renovation was not until 2025 or 2026. But we're thinking, can we do the roof to stop any future, you know?
So you're
So
at,
that wouldn't disrupt.
you're asking for the 1.6 million. Short of us approving that today, what else do you need from us? I mean, is that the last thing that you're waiting for to go
Well,
ahead
we
and
had
sign
several-
1.6 million?
Because council wanted to discuss it, so we're discussing it. So, I mean, we do the contracts, but yet I understand that you guys are in charge of the funds and finding where we're gonna pay for it. If you're waiting on Jason to tell you where you're gonna get the money for these projects, so I get all that, it's kind of
Yeah.
holding us up.
And within that I guess I'm focused on the contract. Within that contract, is there flexibility for all these things that we're talking about? In terms of it not maybe necessarily being a $1.6 million contract that needs the money in the
It could be
next,
less,
next
because there
year.
are some things built in there that, like Arcatura Maresco, it's like, well, we don't have to pay permit fees for this, that can be pulled out. That's just saying what they're, if, up to,
Up to if we did everything.
yes, but I just, and we can negotiate, hey, I know we said we didn't want you to touch the courthouse until 2025, 26, but can we kind of get something done so that no other further damage can be done to our building, right? We can probably negotiate that with them.
Oh, I would say so.
So,
Maybe not after we sign the contract.
but we don't.
Once you sign the contract,
Oh, I can speak with them, like, prior to it, we're gonna be talking about the DOT tomorrow with the attorneys, and so we can bring that up, Jeff's coming with me. Or he's going there, probably not go together, but anyway, we'll be there together. And we can talk about that.
personally,
I just wanna make sure you're on board.
Dale, that is one of the things that could be discussed tomorrow. Is this not to exceed 1.6 million with stage releases, you know, as you do this, you know? That way you guys feel better. You're still committing 1.6 million on the total. But it's gonna be released in stages, you know, the courthouse roof is gonna be, you know, that much.
There's a breakdown in the agreement of what each project
There you
is. So the county courthouse total is 547,538. So like the annex, the total is 406,15 dollars. Highway garage is 549,130. Courthouse is 547,538, and then there's some travel and, you know, miscellaneous that basically add up to
And so in my email
150,000.
to you, when I said that the jail project,
They're all,
construction manager charged about $500,000 for one project, we've got about 4. I know the annex and that outbuilding is kind of one project, but it's really 4 projects, so.
So do they want paid for all of it right now?
it says payment for services is due in full within 30 days of receipt of an invoice, but I read somewhere else, oh wait, here. It'll be billed progressively on a monthly basis.
And the fee shall accrue.
Hey, can you guys hear me? All right. Hey, this is Justin Nickel with Envoy. I'd like to chime in if I could, if that's all right with you guys. Sure. Just a brief explanation. So I think some great points have been brought up already that this is a not to exceed amount. And at the request of the county, we've broken out each of the projects into phases for schematic design, design development, and construction drawings. So what you're seeing is an all-in cost to get to full design on all of the projects we're talking about today. But you know, you're looking at an all-in including surveys, soil borings, geotech, code analysis, ADA integration, facility conditions assessment, all these things that, you know, may or may not be needed. And as we go along, it's a collaborative back and forth of what the needs are of the county versus how we recommend we proceed at a given time, and things are billed as they're incurred. You know, you're not really signing yourself up for 1.6 all in day one. And, you know, this is a long process with multiple projects. So I think I just wanted to provide a little clarity there, but very much appreciate you guys talking about it today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, my understanding is if we would approve this, but then decide in, you know, a few months that the rest of the courthouse can't happen for a while, we would never be billed for that portion of it because we can't afford to do it.
He said it's staggered. He said
Yeah.
you're gonna stagger that bank. But you're still on board. You're still on board.
only for the services that we have to do. It may be zero, we may never get any of them off the ground.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if that's what that's the worst case scenario, is it doesn't cost us anything. The 1.6 million means we get $30 million worth of projects. Right, and that's the goal. So I'm supportive of the commissioners and their team. That's what they were elected to do. And like they need to have everything for us. We also need to know everything from Jason. And I think there's gonna be multiple moving parts all the time. And I don't think there's ever gonna be one tidbit of information that says, oh yeah, now we can do $30 million of projects. I think I don't think one bit of information is gonna make all the difference. So.
I guess my fear is we approve it, and then the commissioners think it's just run with it, even though we don't have any money yet, figured out. Like, they need to understand that we're for it, but it doesn't mean you've got to open check.
Sure.
Right, don't draw up
You know,
designs
because-
for a
yeah,
courthouse
when
when
we
we
can't-
don't have
We have
the
like
money for it.
things to pay.
Let's do a
Yeah,
project.
that's I think the communication has got to get a lot better at that,
Absolutely.
because
The money.
I feel like if we approve this, then.
Well, I will say that with the
Check.
design team, Justin has in place, and I've asked Jeff if he would be on that weekly design meeting. So there would be myself, and then the others that Justin had selected. So that would be our form of communication. If there's emails, I can certainly share it or have it shared with the council so that they know what's going on, where we're at in the process of all these projects, because there is multiple.
Will they have, and this might be a question for Justin, will they have design done for all three at the same time, the design work?
I have design work for the courthouse with me, of what Architectura is recommending, their recommendation for a outbuilding, to move people from the courthouse to. Where would we locate, put everybody while renovations for this courthouse is going on, because we don't want anybody in the building. The savings is, what they say,
25%.
20-some% savings by removing. Then we don't have to worry about people's health issues, dust, the disturbing things, because what's gonna happen. So we've looked at all that to try and make the most.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because if they're going to do design services for all three projects, you're going to get billed for all those projects.
Right.
It'll be an envelopes.
Yeah.
It'll be an envelopes.
Exactly. So if you're only going to do the annex, the roof, but then the annex, then we're only gonna get billed out for the annex. We're not going to be on the hook for money that we aren't going to use or projects we're not going to do right away. So in phases is what I'm thinking. Justin, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're spot on. This is definitely assuming a phased schedule here with priority being the annex. And the other two projects really get weaved in, when it's appropriate for the county.
Right, well, my preference is that Envoy does not do any work, billable work on buildings that we don't know how we're gonna pay for yet. That they only work on what we've approved money to spend on. Then we won't be getting billed for 1.6 million. I mean, I want to keep it $500,000 for now until we know what we can afford to do.
So saying that, the only thing they should be working on right now that's billable is the annex, because we know we have.
And maybe the roof, if it's a structural problem.
Yeah.
So. I could live with that as long as they understand that we're only gonna pay for what we can afford to do at a time.
Once we get our figures.
Yeah.
Once we get our figures.
Well, with the annex, we have the funds set aside.
Whatever makes
That's
sense.
Part
Yeah.
part of it anyway,
Yeah.
a piece.
And yeah, we need to decide whether we wanna just do the annex or build an outbuilding. We have to decide whether we can afford to do all that or just do the annex?
I've spoke up for Envoy here a couple of times, this will be it, but, they're super, they treated us very well at Central. You know, you can't get a better outfit than manage the building. I think it sounds like they should have managed the jail rail, that's for the bridge. That ain't, I'm gonna throw that out there. And I'm not getting paid by them.
You're not an influencer.
Just example, my experience.
You have a motion, Jared?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second, well, and what exactly is
Yeah, what is the
your
motion?
motion? Show me that.
My mission is to, use Envoy as a building manager, send it to the council for commissioners. The construction manager. Yeah, the construction manager and, with the caveat that we, know what kind of word money's coming from Justin. That sound right?
Jason.
Jason.
So,
That, can I add that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Covers that they only charge us for things that we have approved to bill or to
proceed.
proceed with
Projects we.
that we've agreed to as a council. Okay, and I could vote for that motion, if that's written that way.
I'll second that.
Depending on money.
That's what, yeah.
Yes, and that's what we're saying.
It's clear.
If we don't have the money, then we're not gonna proceed, and we have approved it.
And tomorrow's just, I'm going to see if we have a tool that we can put in our toolbox so we can do some of this. And we'll let you know.
Okay, so we have a motion, you got the second, then, okay, all those in favor of that? Okay, 7-0.
So Dudley, what you guys need sounds like there's a schedule an Envoy for project A, project B, project C, with some tasks, each project, you got to know where you're spending it.
Right, and then we will approve, yes, proceed with that, we've got the money to do that project.
Make sure you reflect that, so. I don't know what you're doing.
Justin's on there.
And then,
You hear that, Justin?
What was that? I'm sorry. It was a little difficult there.
If you're not sitting up here, it's hard to hear what you're.
Yeah, it is.
Computer, you gotta be right.
So Justin, they just voted on using Envoy. With a caveat basically that says for project A, project B, and project C, each project should have subtasks underneath it. And they can approve those subtasks as they go along based on funding. So what they're really doing is they're giving you the go-ahead to be their construction contractor, but they're not giving you the go-ahead to spend $40 million on these projects. They need to find the money for each subtask. So they need a list of subtasks for each project so they can trigger them and release them.
Understood. Yep. On board with that.
okay,
Thank you, Justin.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda, you have anything else?
You're thinking.
You got anything left?
Thanks for all your work.
Information.
Well, we do wanna, we're gonna talk about this, comp time. I think we found the money, there's $27,786.45 in comp time. You know, every time we carry this over, it costs us more money because of pay increases. And the only one that provides us details on this comp time is the jail and the health department. And we need to get this wiped out and work with the commissioners to get a policy that, if we pay this out, which Colleen's found the money where we can pay this money out. That we will not pay any more comp time unless they give us a detailed, okay, they came in 8, left at 5, so they have 1 hour of comp time for this pay period. The jail provides that, the health department provides that. If all the other departments will provide that, then we'll look at next year, maybe paying out the comp time for next year.
And Dudley, I know that, and this has always bothered me, you know, we don't get paid for lunch hour. So then you have individuals that just decide they're not gonna go out for lunch. So then they earn comp time.
But they don't come in till 9 o'clock. So that's
Some of them.
right, some of them.
I agree. But if you can't get department heads to have control over their departments, and they're allowing all this to go on, I mean.
What,
That's why
Get that information, it's like
what's the rule? It's 100 hours, isn't it? 80.
It's still the.
Well, actually, for us, it's 70, for courthouse employees, it's 70 hours. Per week,
So,
35
it's
hours.
a policy that it will just be paid out, but I need to have council budget that money so that it can be done. That way, you just finished off, you know, someone's salary that year, paying this year's salary instead of a year or two later, because those individuals they just keep carrying it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, let's
So I'm
pay
happy
this off.
the council is
Yes.
finding funds to do that
We-
too.
But they also, I think the auditors should send a notice to all the department heads, if we agree to do this. That no more comp time will be paid out unless they give us a detailed. Pay stub every 2 weeks, when they turned into Kim that they worked. These are the hours they worked, and they have earned this.
And they were supposed to provide that information of why they were earning comp time and it got lax.
One of my concerns is some of these that are on a board. They get paid on that board, and then are they getting comp time, and we don't know that.
So, because
Okay.
I think I've had a conversation with Colleen and we talked about some of the individuals and they were just being paid for.
Okay,
They weren't
okay,
earning.
well, in this way, if the department heads give us a printout.
But I mean,
what they
Colleen's
say.
doing a job,
Yeah,
you know, she's making sure that they're not being paid when, you know, and him.
I want some clarification on what Colleen said. So I understand that 35 hours means you're a full-time employee. Right. But overtime and comp time, you guys are kicking in at 35 hours?
No,
not 40?
No, from
Okay.
30, from hour 36 to 40, it's time for time,
Correct.
an hour,
Okay.
hour to hour.
You still. get
After
comp time if you're
40,
working
it's
over that
time and a
35.
half, not time.
what was your last?
Okay.
What was your last? I just-
There, you still get comp time or over comp time if you're working over 35 hours, you guys are
Well,
considered.
an hour for hour,
Hour per hour.
actually 40, it's.
Okay.
So those
So,
comp hours basically are based on time for time for the first 4 or 5 hours, 35 to 40, and then time and a half in comp hours. So it's all total correctly. She's done her job.
so,
I didn't know you could get comp time before you hit 40 hours, whether it's dollar for dollar or anything.
yeah, because the courthouse is 35 hours a week, the highway is 40, and,
Okay, so some departments are 40 and some are
yeah,
35.
and it's under salary
I
ordinance,
thought.
I think.
Courthouse is fixed everything for overtime. You just earn comp.
Right,
So we're gonna vote on to pay this out?
pay this out. She's found the funds if we want to do that, get it completely wiped out. And
Have we checked with the employees if they want to be paid out? This could really affect their tax situation at year end, and some of them.
It's either their tax situation or what.
Okay, I just want to point that out. So
And I
mean, some of
know
the bigger
some of
ones
them-
have been up in that tax bracket.
And,
I agree.
Okay, I just wanted,
you agree with
that could be a complaint.
Some reason might fall.
Okay, well, You can check with them.
New Year.
It should take you a minute.
I agree, so all of a sudden, are we not a choice anymore?
I make a motion to pay the comp time out.
Provided they want it,
Yeah,
right?
provided they want.
Okay.
Or maybe we should make it that they have to get at least 50%.
I
Would you agree with
have
that?
to take a percentage.
Okay.
Our policy
Trying to
states
get it down.
it's paid out up to after 80 hours, it has to be paid out. So my opinion, anybody that has over 80 hours, which there's two, one,
Yeah, Bill, 263 and Laura Bush at
Or Jenny
82.
Hughes has got the.
The next year, the rate will be higher. than we pay now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what I
No,
want.
I
And some of these have been carried over 2 or 3 years, and we're paying them a higher rate, but I'd like to get it wiped out. But also with stipulation that the auditor informs them that they have to provide.
I think that the
like-
policy is already in place. I think you make them take it, except for, they could keep up to 80 hours, I suppose, if that's what policy is.
Everything but 80.
And the judge says she can't. She can't be without them to use up their comp time. So,
So I don't know if we can make them take it all. The policy says they can keep up to 80 hours.
and that's why she'll contact them and see if they wanna get paid and get it wiped down.
But instead of doing percentage or something, like that I say anything over 80 has to be paid.
Okay, so we have a motion and second, all those in favor of that?
Aye.
Second. Invoices, our funds, we have approved the money for Wiga and for Hillsborough and for Kingman. Where all the money spent on art, I mean, approved a total amount for those entities. And, our funds have to be approved by council and commissioners, and there's some invoices that have been spent on the Maple Cornerville Annex building that we haven't approved, so we need to approve those, and then Colleen will bring those invoices to us for approval monthly. Didn't realize that we approved the others, but we haven't approved any of the invoices on that, so.
And I do have some outstanding invoices I've been sitting on. I got an additional $2,800 to Ricketts Electric. It is to demo of electrical and exhaust fans and dampeners. So the new roof can be installed at the annex. And then I have Artura for 4,000. And Taft for 2,191.50, and Taft 4,023 on the BOT agreements.
Those are,
I'll make a motion to approve what's been paid plus those that Colin just presented.
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That takes care of today on the annex. You have anything else?
No,
Do you have lunch for us?
I do not, sorry. I did give you a handout of the transfers I've done. I did do some 100s because payouts on the health department and 911 with people leaving, we have a payout comp time. So I had to do some quick changes just to make sure we had the funds available. And my other stuff a little bit, but I'm sorry, I don't know if that's.
No, we don't need state board accounts. Right, that's up for that, so, okay, anybody?
Hillsborough one for them. That we met the other day, main thing out of that was more data on childcare, which is they want to get more data to see where we can do it, if it's feasible, that sort of thing, if there's enough in the counties. So they're getting data and then submit they're going to submit the housing plan for Ready To. Or he was for Ready To. And the last thing on it was, getting a consultant to work on needs of housing. So they're gonna get a consultant, pay a consultant, check out what are the needs for housing, right? The needs for housing. So that's it on the.
Anything else? Next meeting, Monday, January eighth. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second? Yes. All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas and happy.
Merry